time has come for the Pittsburgh Penguins to face the music of a Chicago stadium night. It's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final in the Blackhawks building, where we will all feel the noise. Next.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is brought to you by Molson Canadian. What beer's all about. By Ford, celebrating 75 years of championship trucks. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso. And by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
This is an ordinary run-of-the-mill exhaust pipe. And this is a Midas Long Life exhaust pipe. It's aluminized. And for about the same price, it lasts twice as long as ordinary pipe. And for most cars, only Midas makes it.
Ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to be a pilot. And thanks to the bank, I was able to do that.
Through financial transactions, people plan for and achieve their dreams.
We just got a personal line of credit with the Bank of Montreal because we want to do renovations on the house.
At different times of your life, you need a bank for different reasons. We went to the bank looking for a pre-approved mortgage. Bank of Montreal helped make our dream come true.
Bank of Montreal's been great, we can talk, they're good for business.
Bank of Montreal, we're paying attention.
Well, Sports Select fans, the boys of summer are here and hockey's finished.
Always a bonus in Toronto.
Hey, that's a bonus everywhere because wagering on Sports Select baseball.
It's like watching paint dry. Who couldn't pick winners in baseball? There's no tie games.
So who are you picking?
Winnipeg.
Not in baseball.
Fine then, Quebec.
Jerry, Montreal has the ball team. Quebec plays hockey.
You might call that hockey. Sports fans, make your Sports Select wager today.
At least Blue knows baseball.
Play Pro Line and over-under.
We're back live in the Windy City, face-to-face. It's the Penguins and the Hawks tonight in Game 3. Only two teams in history have erased 3-0 series deficits, and only once has it happened in a Stanley Cup final with the 42 Leafs. So the challenge for Chicago is obvious as they host Pittsburgh this evening in Game 3. Good evening and welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the 1992 Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC television. I'm Ron McLean with Frank Mojica on camera 6. Wayne Mesmer just to the right of the camera standing by to bring us the Star-Spangled Banner. Frank Pellico at the organ, the Barton organ, the world's largest unified organ. 40,000 pipes, 25 keyboards. You can see the sheet music to the Phantom of the Opera just above Frank and Wayne's head. Harvey Wittenberg, the public address announcer, is taking care of the ceremonies in the building right now. The electricity is something. They needed a shoehorn to get all the fans in. There's over 17,000. Some paid as much as $600 US for scalpers tickets to see this critical game for the Chicago Blackhawks. Here comes the crowd. Let me tell you about a couple of news stories just before we look ahead to Game 3 tonight. There was an explosion of sorts in Montreal and Toronto yesterday involving an announcement by Pat Burns. Within 5 hours, Burns announced he had resigned as the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, and then at a press conference in the Gardens at 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time from Cliff Fletcher, he accepted the job as head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Pat Burns and I spoke at the Gardens yesterday. We'll air that in our second intermission this evening. The other big buzz around the hockey world took place when Jeremy Roenick appeared at a press conference with Mike Keenan yesterday, sporting a cast on his right hand and forearm because of a sprained thumb. The injury to Roenick flared up apparently in the second period yesterday. Roenick goes across the red line, 27 red. He's hit by Kevin Stevens' stick as Stevens tries to block Roenick out. That's where Jeremy was first injured. You see him throw his right hand in the air. Then he was in a scuffle later in the second period with Rick Tocchet. The good news if you're a Blackhawk fan is that Roenick has taken the cast off. He'll have it frozen. He will play this evening for the Blackhawks. Bob Erie is out for Pittsburgh. Other than that, everything is as usual. Bedlam in the broadcast booth and with their thoughts on Game 3, Bob Cole, Dick Irvin, and Harry Neal. Bob?
Thank you, Ron, and good evening again, everybody. Well, you know, it was just the other day I was talking to Mike Keenan, and he was saying how delighted he would be to be back in Chicago. Now, when I talked to him, and when he said that he was down 1 game, well, now he's down 2, and I guess he's talking about the crowd noise here and the support they get, but also the smaller ice surface. Now, it seems to me the smaller ice surface of the Boston Garden, Dick, didn't bother Pittsburgh.
Well, in that Boston series, it's almost deja vu. Penguins hope so anyway. They could have, maybe should have lost game 1. Came back much stronger in game 2, won it handily. Went into Boston. There was the talk, the small ice, the crowd, the forechecking. They handled it magnificently and obviously easily won game 3 and 4. That's what they want to do tonight. But let's not forget, the Hawks are a better team than the Bruins.
But this has got to be the ultimate test for not only Pittsburgh, but Harry, I suppose any team coming into this building.
Well, I'll tell you this, if the Hawks can get off to a good start and prolong a good start, they will have these fans, enthusiastic fans behind them, and it's like having a 7th guy on the ice. Also, the ice surface here and the boards, great for a forechecking team that love to shoot it in like Chicago. And they're desperate. When they're desperate, the big guys come through.
The Blackhawks, as you can guess, are coming on the ice here at the Chicago Stadium.
Kevin Collins working on the net at the Pittsburgh end. Who knows if that's an omen? Don Cherry, the Blackhawks are down 2.
Well, they're down 2. Mike Keenan, I'm sure, went in the dressing room and said, look, they won their home game. We got to win our home games. It's that simple. I remember when Montreal Canadiens had us down 2-0. I promised the guys we'd go back for the 7th game. Win these 2 games. The one thing that I think Chicago's got to do, Chicago's got to bother Barassi in the net. I'm not saying run him down. You get great shots from the point, but it's like picking cherries. I'm looking for a big guy to be in front of the net and Barassa tonight. And as the guy said, forecheck. It's a little pond out here. Don't lay back. Hey, Ron, they lose tonight. They're all over tonight. This is it. Do or die. Let's hope Belfer comes up with a dynamite game.
They have the foghorn in waiting here, but Don, you think the Blackhawks might be nervous with all this?
No, you'll never be nervous with a crowd like this. They're pumped up. They just got to go back to doing what they were doing. The first period of the first game, that was the key of it, and then they let up. Get back to that first period. They'll be all right. And you got to watch the penalties, though. You got to watch the penalties here because Ferrio and goal, they get going. Look out.
Don Koharski's the head referee this evening. This will be his first game of the 92 Stanley Cup Final. Andy Van Hellemond scheduled to work Game 4, and then it'll be Coho back in Pittsburgh if it goes that far. Well, what more can be said? Game 3's on deck. Frank Pellico and Wayne Mesmer are poised to bring you the Star-Spangled Banner, one of the finest moments in all of sports spectacle. So let's just soak up the atmosphere ringside and wait for Harvey Wittenberg to announce Wayne.
And join the soloists Wayne Mesmer and Frank Pellico at the organ as they sing and play our national anthem.
Twilight's last gleam
here at the Chicago Stadium for the beginning of one of these games, especially a Stanley Cup playoff game. Here's Don Koharski, the referee, with Kevin Collins and Jerry Gauthier, who will work the lines with Koharski tonight. The save percentage of the two starting goaltenders in this series couldn't be closer. Tom Barrasso is at .906. His goals against average is 2.86. Ed Belfour's save percentage is .904. And goals against average of 2.45. Now this is Barrasso's 20th game tonight. Belfour is in his 17th. Starting is Mario Lemieux at center ice. Tocchet and Stevens on the wings for Pittsburgh. Chicago. Sutter coming in with Matto. Green is 33 and he has the puck back to the net. Chicago would dearly love the first goal in this game. To make sure this crowd stays with it. Could be here. Shot by Chelios. The loose puck. Look out. Smith. And Barrasso got back up in time. But the Hawks come out running at the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, Scotty Bowman, who does not have the last change here, although he's going to make it tough on his buddy Keenan. His first and maybe his biggest chore is to get his Penguins past the first 10 minutes in this game. Chicago has buried many a team over the years in the first 10 or 12 minutes. Barrasso looks sharp as he makes two good stops with lots of traffic around.
And Mario was upset with himself. He just blindly threw that puck back out of the scramble at the goal crease for the second shot to be set up by Steve Smith.
Chicago now, every man up for the face-off inside the Pittsburgh line. Francis won this one cleanly. Lemieux got it ahead. DeFrancis at center and Tocchet on the play. Glove save by Belfour. His first stop came from about 50 feet. Gilbert shot one in high into the crowd. The building is shaking here in Chicago, and why wouldn't it shake? Because Mike Keenan is a little bit shaky. Down 2 games to nothing. Not easy.
Well, in the morning practice, Mike was very intense. His team had a very intense, very fast morning skate. They looked sharp. They looked focused. But how many times have coaches been deceived after watching the morning practice?
Would you say he has become, along with Mario, the #1 personality of this series? He's got the most coverage, I think.
The big cheer is Roenick, 27. It'll be interesting to see how he really shoots the puck now. He gets an opportunity. He's out there, his first shift. Number 27 for Chicago. There he is. Rolling the puck along the boards from the line. Marchman shot. Rebound was there. Roenick couldn't get into it in time. Flip back in and Barrasso's alert again to scoop it up. Penguins get it off a stick down the ice. McKecker set it up in front. Here's a chance. Bork trying to get a shot. Chicago back out. Roenick over the line, awaiting. He just did get out of the way, and Bork was trying to hit him. Farmer shot it back to the goal. Into the corner. Boulay stopped. Now Phil Bork, and just tipped it out over the line. Chelios with Smith. Chelios coming in. Good-looking rush till he got to the line when Hrdina was in his way. Back to the net. Chicago forcing the play. Hudson had a shot blocked. Cleared from the line by Smith. Holland on the offside. 1:51 into the first period.
Is this your average quiet night in?
Showtime.
Alex. Hi, I'm not disturbing anything, am I?
No, it's a quiet night in.
Oh, sounds like it.
Beer?
Yeah, please.
Is this your average beer? Molson Special Dry. It just could be the best beer ever brewed, anytime, anywhere.
Sometimes teams keep injuries secret. They wondered why Mike Keenan revealed the Roenick injury. Somebody said that's so 18,000 people can holler when they hit him tonight. They know he's been hurt.
Well, if you're a Chicago fan, the most encouraging
the Pittsburgh defensemen. They waste little time getting the puck out and down the ice. But they're called on the icing, so they'll bring it all the way back to the right of Tom Barrasso.
Well, Pittsburgh's strategy against the forecheck, which is a little more effective here than it is in a bigger rink like Pittsburgh, they have forwards leaving the zone early, and the defensemen just dump it into the neutral zone. And they'll put up with some icings like the one they just had. Secondly, you're going to see the defensemen reverse the puck. Chicago floods the side of the rink that the puck is going to with 3 forechecking forwards and a pinching defenseman. So look for the Pittsburgh defense to toss it back against the flow to a forward coming in, and Barrasso will stay in his net a lot more than he did in Pittsburgh.
Chelios from the blue line, trying to come in for a shot. Tocchet staying with him. Chelios trying to keep it in, can't do it. Turning at center. Shot it up to the line. Chicago on the move. Sutter centered it. Sutter then overskated it the second time, and Tocchet comes back out. Tocchet brings it in over the Chicago line with a shot right on. L4, the save. Murphy waits. Teammates are back on side as they clear the zone. He shoots it in. Chelios again, but he gave it away this time. It is centered and grabbed by the goaltender in Belfour, and he holds the puck.
Well, after his rather shaky performance in Game 1, Belfour got some help. The Blackhawks put in a phone call to Moscow and brought Vladislav Tretiak over. He flew in the day of Game 2 and has had 2 lengthy on-ice sessions with Belfour since then. They say Belfour doesn't like to be coached too much, but with Tretiak he listens to everything he says. And also Belfour practiced this morning in the morning skate, something that he hasn't been doing on game days in the past. Evan Stevens has been a little silent in this series, I thought, so we all know what he can do. I love to see teams play when their backs are against the wall like Chicago. You then find out which individuals really can come to the front when things are tough, and Mr. Belfour has that assignment for the Hawks.
Trottier, Yager, Loney up front for Pittsburgh. Hudson to take the face-off against Trottier. And Hudson wins it. Dennis Marchman with a puck coming out. He had the Chicago goal in Game 2. Peluso 44. He's coming in there hard, but he's tied up and knocked down. And the puck cleared down the ice. Marchman back. Fired it on the boards. That would go all the way down the ice. Pittsburgh back. Shell Samuelson. And icing called against Chicago.
Well, Peluso's job is to get out there early and be the first man in on the forecheck. And look what the Pittsburgh Penguins do to him to give their defenseman a chance to handle the puck. They don't want this big guy taking 5 or 6 strides. So see the hold up here? Yager hooks him, then Murphy hooks him. That gives Gordy Roberts a chance to get back and twist away without going into the glass. We're going to see a lot more of that on behalf of the Pittsburgh forwards after the Chicago shoot-in.
Shots are 4-2 in favor of Chicago. The 2 shots by Pittsburgh so far were long-range types. Tocchet had 1 half-decent shot, but from just inside the blue line. Trottier, Yager just to his right. No score, first period. Game 3 from Chicago. Pittsburgh on the draw. Samuelson shot blocked. Yager trying to get loose. You know how he can do it. He shot one in, but it hit a skate in front of the net. Loney kept it in, took a hit on the play from Kravchuk. Here's Kuchera. Starting the Blackhawks away. Hudson across center and ripped it in. Gilbert on it. Got by him and into the crowd again. And the face-off is going to be inside the Pittsburgh blue line.
Ask anyone who's driven an Escort lately. They'll tell you that we're not only building great cars, we're creating better ways to buy them. Like the 1993 Escort, 5-door, sedan, and wagon. All 3 models come well-equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, power steering, and more. Each for the same low price. It's an easier, better way to buy a car. The 1993 Escort. Quality is job one. It's working. Ask anyone who's driven an Escort lately. They'll tell you that we're not only...
center ice for Pittsburgh. McEachern is going to go in now. Francis is tossed out. Phil Morton is on the other side. On the faceoff. Comes back quickly to Stanton. He gives it to Alt Samuelson, and he shot it to center. Chelios and Smith, the Chicago defenseman. Samuelson getting away from a hit. Got the puck as far as the line, but not out. He'll try it again. Again, he's stopped. Third time he gets it away to center ice. And Steve Smith was back for Roenick. Roenick has got to get going for Chicago in this series. Long pass intended for Goulet. Here's Smith stepping up there. Into Larmer, and that's offside. Larmer saw the defenseman come in, and he burst in a little bit too quickly. He was offside.
Well, one thing Mike Keenan's doing a little more often here where he gets the last change is put his 5 best offensive players on the ice at the same time. The Roenick line with Goulet and Larmer, and Smith and Chelios. And he seems to be as interested in doing that as getting Smith and Chelios out against Mario Lemieux the way he did in Pittsburgh.
So again, watching young McEachern, number 15 for Pittsburgh. And what we have seen so far of Sean McEachern, he's got a future.
Scotty was telling me after the second game that he couldn't get McEachern in as often as he wanted, so we might see more of him tonight.
Kravchuk shooting the puck in for Chicago. Centered very quickly. Blackhawks on it. They have the upper hand in the early going of this first period. There is no score yet, though. 4.5 minutes into it. Francis on the boards against Big Peluso. Peluso muscle the puck to the far side. It's kept in by Jocelyn Lemieux. Roberts feeling the pressure, decides to try to shoot it away, and he doesn't do it. Murphy brings it out. Passed it ahead to McEachern. He dumped it in. McEachern coming to the net. Another shot. Now he's back in the goal, centered. McEachern stopped by Belfort twice, and then he nearly backed it in off the goaltender.
McEachern made a pretty good play, Harry. There was a space between Belfort's legs, and that's where the kid went for. Go ahead, Belfort made the stop.
Well, McEachern made a pretty good play with the great speed he's got to get to the outside, coming up right here. He fumbles the puck past the Hawk defenseman, and then gets in to where you had a chance. Kravchuk went for the puck, and this is what happened to him. Belfort pretty good out in the angle, but you can see the 5-hole was open for a second.
Face off to the left of the net. Lemieux on again. Bang on it. Puck came over to him rather quickly on the draw. Here's Chelios shooting at the center to Green. Hit his stake. He's to back out. Stevens. Pass intended for Lemieux was intercepted. The crowd buzzing on that one because he was open. There's Lemieux, put it ahead to Stevens. Stevens coming in with Tocchet. Jim Pack's shot is blocked. He got the rebound off Green and just tossed it in behind the net. Smith for Chicago decides to lug it himself. Flipped it into the zone. Barrasso out. Laid it up on the boards. Here comes Green. Now it's back to Chelios. Hit the goal post to the outside. There's a penalty coming up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the first power play of the hockey game. When we come back, and it'll belong to Chicago.
Oh, hi, Mr. Johnson.
Call me Jerry.
Thought your dad was supposed to be out of town.
Hey, Jeff. Grab a Coke for your old dad.
How about Pepsi?
What's the tip?
Say goodbye, Jerry.
The difference is one tastes better.
This one.
You chose Pepsi.
The majority of soft drink users tested prefer the taste of Pepsi over Coke Classic.
Gets his stick high. It's really high. And he gets the first penalty call of the hockey game. They catch it here at the side of the net. There, right there. You see a stick go up. The Penguin Blackhawk go down. And Koharski makes the call.
And the power play for Chicago has Noonan with was blocked by Mario Lemieux. The net tangled along the boards, 2 players. Koharski called the play.
1 for 7. The Hawks are 1 for 7 on the power play in the first 2 games of this final. Samuelson, who's one of those players who's detested by the opposition, but would be very welcomed as a teammate if you could ever get your mitts on.
They're 6 for 7 here in Chicago area as far as wins and losses are concerned in the playoffs, using this building and all of its advantages to the utmost. St. Louis Blues, the only team to beat the Blackhawks in the playoffs on the road. Penguins have played 9 times, won 6, lost 3.
Noonan is off, and now Sutter is on to take this face-off. Alarmer is the other forward for Chicago. Ron Francis will try to win it for Pittsburgh. Mario Lemieux, the other forward. Alt Samuelson and Murphy are the defensemen. 1:51 left in the penalty. Face-off to the left of Barrasso. Collins now ready, but the Chicago players are questioning referee Koharski. Now Larmer gets back into position. And there's the face-off. Back to the line it goes. Chelios threw it ahead to Larmer. Larmer waits. Side of the net. Coming up front. Barrasso down. Made a save. And Lemieux was there to shoot at the length of the ice. Chelios and Smith. Sutter. Larmer. Roenick. And they're winding up in the Chicago zone. Roenick flying down that right side with Larmer taking the puck. Larmer shooting! Barrasso looking very cool. And he caught that and held onto it.
Harry, that rush by Roenick, that's the best move he's made in the 3 games.
Well, Steve Larmer, one of his favorite plays on the rush is the crisscross in front of the opposing defense. And when Roenick's scaring the life out of the defenseman and he might go wide and then cuts across, Larmer comes off his tail. He gets some time to get a shot away, as he did right here. Easily handled by Barrasso.
Sutter again on the face-off. And again, Francis for Pittsburgh. No score, first period. Power play Chicago, 1:22 left in the penalty. Chelios and Smith. Chelios ahead with it. Larmer had it backhanded behind the net. Samuelson was there, couldn't get it out. Smith stopped it, shot it back to the goal. Sutter centered it, right under the stick of Murphy. He got it back again, though, to Smith near the blue line. He had to poke it ahead, he was checked quickly. Barrasso is helping out, getting behind the net, he fired away. Here's Smith intercepting, but it slipped down the ice. And it goes all the way down to Ed Belfour. 50 seconds left in the Pittsburgh penalty. No score, first period, game 3. Goulet shoots it in. Here's Rob Brown. Brown passed it back to the line to Chelios, to Kravchuk. He's got a good shot, missed the net with that one. It's McEachern picking it up to shoot it away. 30 seconds left in the penalty. Kravchuk for Chicago. Goulet circles to his left. Kravchuk coming out, gets to center, rifle it in off the board. Pittsburgh on it quickly and they clear the zone. Kravchuk nearly lost it to Phil Bork. Now the pass to center. It's Goulet coming in with that toe. He's covered and can't shoot it. Goulet gave it to Brown in the far corner. To the line. Noonan ripped it. And there's Barrasso again. He has been very steady. The penalty is over. Pittsburgh has killed the first penalty of the game.
Every day at Esso, we go to extremes. From desert heat to -40. Quality is essential to us. It's a lot of time and it's a lot of care.
Our gasoline goes through at least 16 different quality control tests. Nothing is left to chance. Quality is too important. From the first test to the last stop.
At Esso, you can count on all of us for the quality of our products.
It's tough for you to win playoff games at any stage in the playoffs, although in the finals when your top scorer, Roenick, has 1 shot on goal in 2 games and no points, and your second scorer, Larmer, has 1 point. They just have to get some offense.
Pittsburgh very patient. They killed off the first penalty of the game. And Chicago
invasion of his homeland in Czechoslovakia in 1968. He wasn't alive, but of course, like all young Czechoslovakians, heard lots about it. His mother's here to watch him play, and Yager very quickly in these 92 playoffs has become the most offensive four-letter word in Pittsburgh.
There's the big crowd in the grand old Chicago Stadium.
12 days, Bob. It's been 12 days since there's been a hockey game here. Edmonton 3-4 for Chicago, and of course Pittsburgh 1-2 in this series. That's a long time without a game in the playoffs.
8:30 gone in the opening period. It is scoreless to this point. Ron Francis again for Pittsburgh. In center for Chicago. They haven't dropped it yet. Chicago winning the draw. Graham shoots one. Screen shot. But Barrasso again, he's a good angle goaltender. And he had the angle on that one. The puck just came right to him.
Sure, Graham and the Blackhawks, I think, must be aware by now, because it has received some publicity, of one thing. They are co-tenants in this building with the Bulls of the NBA, defending NBA champions, who advanced to the finals last night by beating Cleveland. Never has a team won an NBA title and the Stanley Cup playing in the same city in the same year. Has it happened?
That's a good bet against every year at the start of the seasons.
Smith stopping it at the blue line, keeping it onside. Francis goes back to pick it up for Pittsburgh, but great forechecking in the early going of this game by the Chicago Blackhawks. Puck comes loose along the boards. Blackhawks keep it in. There goes Graham, the captain. He shot it off the boards behind the net for Matteau. He's covered. So is Sutter. And the Penguins shell. Samuelson is allowed to skate away with it. He's coming out. Tocchet, the only player up with him, tried to pass it to him and couldn't. Graham back in for Chicago, but they were ready to make a change, and they're going off now. Nearing the halfway mark of the first period. Still no score. Puck shot down the ice. Franchise back in a hurry, and again, another icing called against Pittsburgh. So the Penguins continue to sit back and wait for a break, maybe.
And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. With a tingle in your fingers, tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playroom, rhythm in the street. Yeah, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Rhythm of life is a powerful beat. With a tingle in your fingers, tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playroom, rhythm in the street. Yeah, the rhythm of life.
Only CIL Dulux has the inspiration, the ideas, and the color solutions to bring your home to life. CIL Dulux brings your home to life.
Well, this pretty well tells you why Pittsburgh's ahead 2-0 in this series. Their big guns are shooting real bullets.
Face off to the left of Tom Barrasso. Into the corner it goes. Old Samuelson gave it a stand-in. He got rid of it. And that is obviously the game plan of Scotty Bowman and the Pittsburgh Penguins starting this game. Careful. Everybody back. Nobody get caught. So far, nobody has been caught, but most of the play has been inside the Pittsburgh line. There's McEachran out there again, but it's stopped by Larner. Turning with Roenick. Larner shot. Hit the goal. He put it by Barrasso, but it hit the post. McEachran now snaps the shot. Here's Roenick coming back out the center. Nailed by old Samuelson hard at center ice.
neutral zone hit on Jeremy Roenick.
And that was a two-man break for Chicago. Roenick trying to catch up and get into it. And he would have been, except for Earl Simmons.
I think Jeremy likes to get hit the odd time. It gets him in the game. One of his great assets is his toughness and his feistiness and a little mean streak in him that will go along with a great talent we've seen him have.
Face-off is near the center ice red line. Stepping up here is Marchman. A shot in. Blocked in front of the net. Gilbert was in forechecking, so was Noonan. But the Penguins get it out. Now it's called in the glove pass. So they'll bring it back.
I really think in the first two games, especially Game 2, the Blackhawks got carried away with two things. One, seeing how many hits they could get and not be concerned about playing their own game, where if the hit's there, you take it and don't hunt for it all night. And secondly, being too concerned about Lemieux, especially Lemieux. And the next thing you know, you're not playing your game. They won 11 straight games. They ought to get back to trying to play that way. Don Cherry mentioned that in the opening. He's right. Forget worrying about Pittsburgh. See if you can get them to worry about you.
Francis, Stevens, and Tocchet is the Pittsburgh line now. Here's Gilbert for Chicago. Put it back in front of the net. Two Penguins butt together. And they get the puck out. Francis poked it down for Tocchet. Stevens is coming up. Stevens! Stopped by Belfour! Joe Ryan! And Belfour makes that great save. That's his best so far. He only had 4 shots. That one looked like it might have been a goal.
Well, the Penguins are gambling. If they keep dumping the puck into the neutral zone, they'll get a turnover there, or they'll get a defenseman that gets trapped, like Marchment does right here. And the first real good chance the Penguins had, Stevens gets a nice pass from Tocchet, but over on a stacked pad stop by Eddie Belfour.
The old story is nobody would rather have get a chance like that than somebody who potted 54 goals this season. Out a little bit. Belfour played it well. Barry was out. This is his 5th full-strength shift. And for every minute I've been watching that he's been on the ice, except for his penalty-killing role, Brent Sutter has been out there with him. So he has the job, obviously, tonight.
Stevens remains on. Younger is the other forward on the right side of Mario Lemieux. Chicago now. We'll have to be mindful of Younger and Lemieux. They're in forechecking now. The Blackhawks come out, however. Nexo gets up over the line. A weak shot off Murphy. Sutter's the first one in there. Got a pass back to Dirk Green, who was hit. Nexo lost it. And Gordy Roberts took his time to play it on the boards. Telios stopped it at the blue line. Now Yager knifed it ahead. Lemieux bumped at the blue line. Yager coming in. Stevens shot. Another shot. And he just missed with the second one. Stevens uncorked the second shot very quickly. Chicago moving it up. Green played it in. There's Barrasso. He's like another defenseman back there coming out quickly. Takes a good look around before he leaves the net, too. More often than not, makes the perfect play. Well, Chicago in. Upended inside the line, brings a penalty against Pittsburgh. Roenick was dumped trying to skate in. And here's the second power play of the game. Again for Chicago.
Who was the first car maker over 30 years ago to build vehicles with seat belts, to make safety glass standard? The first North American car maker to offer anti-lock brakes and offer more models with dual airbags than any other manufacturer, the Ford Motor Company. That's who.
We're committed to making safety innovation an important part of quality.
The Ford Motor Company. Quality is job one. It's working.
Detroit native Gordy Roberts in his 136th Stanley Cup game, second only to Brian Trottier in the finals, gets the second Pittsburgh penalty. A trip on Jeremy Roenick, and it was a pretty obvious trip. Roenick trying to make the move. Down he goes. Second power play chance for Chicago. They've outshot the Penguins 9-4 so far.
And they get a face-off to the right of Tom Barrasso. up the left side, played it to the other wing. Chopped off by Shell Samuelson, kept in by Chicago. Roenick is going in after Samuelson, trying to hit him. Got a piece of him, and the Penguins clear it down the ice. Chelios coming back. Kravchuk, the other defenseman. Chelios, the quarterback, starts up to center, whips it in on the boards. Barrasso missed that one. It cuts in front of the net. Out comes Barrasso, make a great save. Chelios now shooting into the crowd. That one off the stick, but Chicago getting some great chances. And there was one down the tubes right there.
Well, they were handed the chance when the Penguins misplayed the puck deep in their own zone, and Barrasso dodged the bullet. Now, it was a shoot-in. It's awfully tough in this rink to get shoot-ins that go around the boards. Barrasso gets out, but he can't get it. And then we see the turnover there as it bounced off Samuelson's skate. And Barrasso didn't know where the puck was after it hit him. Here's the play we're talking about. See, it went right through the legs of Shell Samuelson. And Larmer got one from 12 feet out but couldn't beat Barrasso. Tom Barrasso really has shaken the handle of not being able to win the big games. He's been the only reason this game's still 0-0. Last year, Bob, he went from a 3.59 goals against in the season to a 2.60 in the playoffs. This year, 3.53 in the season, down to a 2.86 in the playoffs. That's nearly a goal a game on him.
Sorry, Harry, I was going to say he is one of the main reasons Pittsburgh is here in the Stanley Cup final. He's been solid throughout the whole playoff. 7:25 left in the first period. No score. Minute 10 on a power play for Chicago. And Murphy got there in time to stop Noonan. He might have to do it again. Noonan got it back. Now Chelios with Smith at the point. Chelios coming around Francis. Backhands it over in the crease area. Noonan took a whack at it. Smith is pitching in. Oh, Chicago in there. And it's cleared away by old Samuelson, who took a whack at Goulet in the crease. And the puck is over the boards at the far side. There's going to be another face-off in the Pittsburgh zone. 44 seconds left in the penalty to Pittsburgh.
Michel Goulet missed on a very close-range backhand. The Hawks are all over the Penguins, but the score is 0-0. And I mentioned earlier that the first 10 or 12 minutes, and we're into about the 13th minute now, Chicago has buried all kinds of teams here, but Tom Barrasso is not letting them do it tonight.
Goulet's in quite a shot there at the edge of the crease. Samuelson. 6:54 left in the first period. 11-4 in shots favor of Chicago, enjoying their second power play now. As Harry pointed out, still no score in this first period. Lemieux on the boards against Smith. Francis sweeping it away, getting it down the ice. Chelios back. Noonan takes his pass. Circles at the Chicago line. Has that back up. He sees Lemieux standing right in front of him. Down to center, it's Noonan. Steps in over the Pittsburgh line. Trying to drop it back to Roenick. Didn't work. Roenick going after it. Smith couldn't keep it in. Just 10 seconds left in the penalty now. And Noonan is offside. He reached for that pass. He was on the Pittsburgh side of center.
Ryan Noonan, who goes in streaks when he scores. He goes a long time without scoring, and the next thing you know, he's got 2 in a game or 5 in a week. And we mentioned earlier, he scored 7 goals in a row for Chicago this year during the season. Quick, good shot, and pretty tough to handle on the rush with his great speed. And turned 27 years of age yesterday. It was his birthday. For this place. About to become the former Chicago Stadium. They're building a new one across the street. Imagine they had an NFL playoff final in here with a bad blizzard. Portsmouth lost 9-0 to Chicago Bears, and you remember this play. Bronco Nagurski faded back and threw a touchdown pass to Red Grange to give them the NFL title.
Jim Pack for Pittsburgh. Rolled it into the Chicago zone. Kravchuk, the defenseman, with it. The penalty is over now. Roberts is out of the box. So Pittsburgh has killed another one off. Still no score in the first period. Hudson is in deep. Shell Samuelson stopping him. Johnson will be in the corner. Pack
problem's obvious. You need a new muffler. Well, right now at Canadian Tire, we'll install any MotoMaster muffler for both imported and domestic cars for just $34.95. And they're guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Now that's one deal that looks as good as it sounds. MotoMaster, Canada's #1 selling replacement parts.
Can't help but talk about this building as we pan around again. The second oldest building in the National Hockey League, the Boston Garden, beats it by 3 years. This one opened in 1929. You know, Jim Belushi always smiles on the Tonight Show and on Saturday Night Live, but every time we take a picture of him, he's frowning, scowling. Loosen up, Jim. It's only a game. Against Everton, he had a few smiles, as I recall.
It's a very big game for the Chicago Blackhawks. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup final. Pittsburgh winning the first 2 at home. The kicker coming to center and going in. Takes a shot high one. Now, Four hasn't had too much work so far in the period. That's only his 5th shot. And he hangs on to it.
Harry, would you say Belfour is showing a little more poise tonight? At least so far, he hasn't had that much to do, but we're 15 minutes into the period.
He looks a lot more comfortable. I don't know whether uncomfortable is the right word, but he was kind of swimming in those games in Pittsburgh and floundering around the crease and lost his stick on one goal and went down early on 2 or 3. He looks much more composed now.
Inside the circle. Race off to the right of Belfour. Pittsburgh on the draw. Pack shot. Hit like a score! Jim Pack shot it from the blue line, and it hit a stick before it got to the net. And Pittsburgh gets the first goal. 1-0.
I don't know about this one. It might have hit 2 sticks on the way. Follow the bouncing puck, certainly. They won the draw, packed up the shot. After that, let's watch it on the replay.
When you lose the draw directly in your own zone, you're asking for trouble. You can see the puck was nearly stopped by one stick, and it really only dribbled by Belfour. This is the perfect script for Scotty Bowman's Pittsburgh Penguins. Be outplayed, be out-hit, be out-hustled, but be ahead with 4 minutes to go in the period.
Pittsburgh goal is 6th in the playoffs, scored by number 92, Rick Tocchet. Assisted number 25, Alex Stevens, and number 2, Jim Pack, at 15:26. Pittsburgh goal scored by Tocchet, assisted by Stevens and Pack at 15:26.
15:26, the time of the goal, scored by Rick Tocchet. Stevens and Pack assisted on the goal. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Chelios tries to get that back quickly. He's in around the net. Takes a look out front. He is tied up now. He shakes away from shallow Samuelson. Hudson back of the goal. And to center it. Hudson again. Away from Pack. Lemieux in on the boards for Chicago. He kicked it loose. Now Samuelson tying him up. And Jim Pack takes over and shot it on the boards at the far side. Kept in by Chelios. Jocelyn Lemieux put it out front of the net. Peluso is covered. And it's kept in by Smith. Smith's pass. Pittsburgh all back there, trying to cover up. Shell Samuelson cut the plate off the puck. Tocchet does not move it out. Now he chopped into center ice. Chelios again, stopped at the Pittsburgh line. Shell Samuelson feeding it ahead for Mario Lemieux. A little too high by him, and that's icing called against Pittsburgh. 3:24 remaining in the first period, and it's 1-0 Penguins.
Every time you go shopping, you've got choices to make and decisions to reach. Certainly you should compare price and quality. Then take a minute to think about Canada. Because when you buy a Canadian-made product or service, or shop in a Canadian store, there's a payback. In Canadian jobs and a stronger Canadian economy. Canada. Buy into it.
shot. There was no question about it, as Dick mentioned. It was hit 2 or 3 times. Take a look here at the top right part of your screen. There's the shot by Jim Pack. It hits the Chicago stick, then it hits Tocchet's stick, and then it dribbles aimlessly past Balfour. Tocchet's 6th goal of the playoffs.
Game at 15:26. Tocchet from Stevens and Pack. Bill Bourque fell trying to sweep it out. Penguins clear it anyway. And another penalty in behind the play. Chicago were coming back to pick it up. And here's a Chicago penalty. So Pittsburgh, having killed off a couple of penalties of their own, now will have a man advantage.
Michel Goulet is complaining. He says that Phil Bourque held his stick. And that's what Keenan thinks, too. And he was trying to get his stick loose and pulled Phil Bourque down. And Koharski didn't see it. That's Keenan. Saw it. Referee, boy, it's a tough job. You know, it's the only occupation in the world where the highest accolade is silence.
Nobody notices what you do. You've done a good job.
That's right.
You know, this is kind of an interesting situation. Turnaround time. The Penguins hang in. They're outplayed. They score a strange goal right after it. They get a power play chance.
It's Francis, Yager, Stevens, Murphy, and Mario Lemieux. That's not a bad lineup with the extra man. And there's Lemieux getting it back. Francis a shot, deflected wide of the net. Chelios ripped it on the boards, and it's cleared down the ice. Barrasso will leave the net to stop it for Murphy. Graham is watching him. Larmer, the other penalty killer up front, as Murphy goes down. Stevens saw Smith coming at him with a hit. He got out of the way. Dirk Graham stayed onside. Coming in is Larmer. And the shot by Graham was high and wide. Larmer again. Fed it in there. Graham couldn't handle that pass. He was all alone. Now Pittsburgh's Kevin Stevens dropping it. That's poked away by Chelios, a fine play. Chicago short-handed, but boy, they keep coming at Pittsburgh. The Penguins lead 1-0 on Tocchet's goal with only 2:19 remaining in the first period.
Chelios and Mario Lemieux had words. Chelios chopped Lemieux and hit him very slightly in the face, and Lemieux comes roaring back at him. Now this is after, and then he fakes the chop. Chelios was ready for it. Lemieux didn't deliver it.
See Steve Larmer out there so much tonight, killing penalties. The aftermath to Game 2 in the Chicago area, phone-in shows, the print press. Keenan's work on in the game on Thursday dominated things. The benching they fought of Roenick. Turns out now he may have been hurt. As we pointed on our telecast, the trainer was checking in his stuff. Larmer didn't play much. Chelios had lengthy stretches. Steve Smith lengthy stretches, and it was all Keenan. All Keenan in the news as the result of Game 2.
Long discussion going on here. Koharski just talked to Scotty Bowman. Now he's moving down to talk to Mike Keenan. And I'm sure it's about the after-the-whistle antics of Chelios and Lemieux. And he's warning him probably here. If I see it, boys, I'm going to call it. And I'm nice enough to warn you about it. Now Koharski and Keenan are yelling at each other.
1 minute left in the penalty. Pittsburgh, man advantage. Goulet is the Chicago player in the box. Mario Lemieux headed up. Stevens dropped it to Tocchet going in. Stevens is in front. The shot blocked. And here's Lemieux hanging onto it. Backing up. Gives it to Samuelson. Old Samuelson passed it off. Murphy shot deflected. Matto a chance to clear it, and he does. 35 seconds left in the penalty. 1:45 in the period. Pittsburgh 1, Chicago 0. Tip to center for Stevens. Sutter chasing him in the Chicago zone. Smith comes in. So does Larmer. 3 Blackhawks. And it's Smith who backhands a high one to the line. It came out, knocked back in, and that is onside with 15 seconds remaining in the penalty.
Again, Larmer gave Mario Lemieux a bit of a stick. And in comes Stevens, I believe, to Lemieux's rescue. here's Brent Sutter planting one of those Alberta elbows in the face of Kevin Stevens. He's a wrestler there. And that's a fair-sized steer he's having.
Just under a minute and a half left in the opening period. Tocchet has scored for Pittsburgh. And they lead 1-0. Chicago shooting the puck down the ice. Goulet ready to step out of the penalty box. So Chicago has killed off that penalty. He's out now. A minute 10 left in the period. Chicago, great advantage territorially, but patient Penguins had the only goal. Chicago in there forechecking again. Yager saw Smith coming. Too late. Smith hooked it to the corner. Roenick is in there fighting for her. Knocked down. Here comes Larmer. Can't get a shot. Another penalty coming up against Pittsburgh. Chicago. And the last minute of this period will get another power play.
Don Koharski sees what we see and probably what you at home see. A nasty game developing here at the Chicago Stadium. And when you see turnovers on the forecheck 2 or 3 times in one shift, you often see the team that's turning the puck over take a penalty. With 45 seconds left, the Penguins did just that.
Well, it's heating up here in Game 3. More of the same's on deck Monday evening, 8:30 Eastern Daylight. We'll provide you with the Penguins and the Blackhawks in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. And coming up in just about a minute, Don Cherry in the Coach's Corner in our first intermission.
There's Yager in the penalty box. That's a holding call against Yager.
Well, he tried to fend off a pinching Steve Smith and ended up grabbing him in the process. Here it is right here. See him grab Smith trying to walk out of the corner there behind and took the penalty.
Roenick, Goulet, Larmer, Smith, and Chris Chelios for Chicago. 45 seconds left in the period. Chicago trying to tie it up before this one is out. Smith keeping it in at the blue line. Roenick winding up. Passes off. Chelios on a sharp angle. Can't get a shot from there. Lemieux tied him up. Now it's passed back to Smith. His pass. Again to Smith. Shot this time. Deflected in front. And Francis picks it up and shoots it away for Pittsburgh. Only 20 seconds left in the period. Chelios. Belfour hollered at him. Move it quick. And he did. He got it up to center, and here's Goulet coming in with a shot. He's up high, off the glass. 7 seconds left, side of the net. Barrasso covers up with 5.6 seconds remaining in period number 1. 12-6 are the shots in favor of Chicago.
Harry, a different kind of a game, just the kind of stuff you talked about developing here. What causes this? You used the word desperate for the Blackhawks. They're maybe playing that way, and this crowd has to have something to do with it, the atmosphere in the building.
Well, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are standing up to Chicago physically, refusing to be pushed around. So you get those 3 things happening at the same time, and you get some tempers. And there, Michel Goulet rubbing the back of his head where he took a high stick.
So one more face-off, and this is a big one, as they say. Deep in the Pittsburgh zone to the right of Tom Barrasso. 5.6 seconds remaining in the period. And Manto has gone over to the Chicago bench. And it's going to be Sutter will try to win the draw, I am sure. Larmer is to his left. Roenick to the right. Chelios parked just behind Sutter. And the puck comes back to Chelios. Time to move up. There's the pass, but it got away from Kravchuk. And the siren goes to end the first period here in Chicago. 13-6 were the shots on goal in the first period in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks. But the Penguins, who are so very, very patient, got the only goal of the period. Tocchet at 15:26. So the score after 20 minutes. Pittsburgh 1, Chicago 0.
Scotty still mad at you?
Yeah, Scotty, I was home, by the way, in Toronto yesterday, and people down at Bronte Harbor in Oakville thought you went a little crazy, but you were excited, so that's the way it goes.
Wait a minute. Whoa. We weren't even going to get into this. I don't understand it. He give you heck.
You know, and he's madder at me because I ended up telling you that he was unhappy that you were criticizing Yager.
He give you heck.
Yeah, but he was pointing out.
And I stick up for you.
He's sticking up for his player.
And at the end you say, I'm sorry.
Well, I was sorry for Scotty because his family's home in Buffalo watching. Suella's here at the game in Pittsburgh. They shouldn't watch, and you're an adversary.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Boston.
You've apologized enough. You've wiped the floor with yourself enough. Let's go.
No, I haven't wiped. You're the one that should apologize. Do you want that opportunity?
Let's go. Apologize is a sign of weakness. Let's go.
Okay, I'll go with that. You, Fort St. James, I promised you'd say hello to somebody there.
Jimmy Playfair's down here. Keenan wanted to count. Roxanne, going to have a baby at any time, and he's thinking of you all the time, and he wishes he was there with you, but Mike says...
Jim's coaching in Indianapolis.
It's $100 a game.
He came down to a game in Edmonton. He had nothing but a sweat-top, blue jeans, and Mike says, get on the plane. You're coming for the rest of the playoffs to be with us.
Well, Roxanne, hang in there.
Great luck for the family there. Now,
I'm a nice guy.
One other nice story. You're really moving up in the world. One other nice story. The Vancouver Canucks, in cooperation with a company called Art in Motion, have put together a promotion to raise money for two sources, Crime Stoppers and a hospice for terminally ill children. And there are two prints that they're going to be selling for $200 down in the Lower Mainland. One of Pavel Bure, the other is of Cliff Ronning, two of your favorites. Bure led all scorers among rookies in the playoffs with 6 goals, +4, an outstanding performance by Pavel. There's the print featuring Pavel Bure, and there's another called Cliff's Edge featuring Cliff Ronning of the Canucks. And Dale Cooper, the artist.
Yes, and it's a great picture. And get out there and support the hospital.
All right. What about the game, Don?
Well, it's the old story again. You can see Pittsburgh up 2-0, loosey-goosey. See them this morning. By the way, a guy come up to me today that was on the ice with Chicago. I just thought of it now. And said, I love Coach's Corner TV. And guess who it was? I told you.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't know. You didn't guess.
Mr. Koharski.
Trechak.
Oh, Trechak?
Trechak come up to me. I was standing with Reggie Fleming. Remember the old tough guy? And he come up and he says, I love Coach's Corner. See, they love me all over. Anyhow, the game...
Don Koharski's dad said he liked the Coach's Corner the other night.
Good old guy.
Vladislav was on the ice this morning. Maybe that's why Eddie Belfour looked so good in the
first period. Whatever it is. Loosey-goosey. They don't we're up 2-0. Pressure. 3 goal posts. They've got to come back, and that's all there is to it. I like at the end, they finally had somebody in front of Barrasso. That's the one thing they've got to do. Forechecking, you can't do any more than they did.
1 minute. Wally Ronick's dad's here. What did
1 minute? We got
1 minute. So a couple of things.
Well, all right. Ronick, what a great guy. Gets his thumb broken, doesn't roll around, doesn't fall down, and the whole bit. And what a great guy. That's why everybody loves him.
Pat Burns.
Toronto. What a great guy. I knew Fletcher had something. I knew he was going to have a bomb because he didn't name anybody. Never dreamed a bomb like that. Pat Burns had to get out because I told you a long time ago that politically correct lineup was killing him. He told me he could not take it every press conference after him, and if I play this English guy, I got to play this French guy. He's there now. They've got now the best coach. They've got the best all-around player in the league, Gilmore, one of the best goaltenders, and finally, I'm going to get some competition for my suits and ties.
Absolutely. Toronto will never look so good. Go ahead.
One more thing. Get a haircut, Pat. That Pat Riley stuff doesn't go in Toronto.
Oh, no, it looked good. You looked sharp yesterday.
I thought you know.
Pat Burns, great news there, and a load of Roxanne Playfair, not to be confused with Fair Play in this installment of the Coach's Corner on Hockey Night in Canada.
Coach's Corner with Don Cherry is brought to you by Pepsi.
We'll resume following our coverage from here at the stadium tonight, but we've got a hunch. Their phones in Halifax, like our ears in Chicago, are still ringing, so if you know the number, please help out. Now, upstairs to Bob Dickenhare.
Thank you, Ron. They've changed the scoring play of the Pittsburgh goal. Sean McEachern gets the goal from Stevens and Pack. It came at 15:26, 1-0. Pittsburgh leading after one period. Really, Chicago, Harry, had the better part of the play in the period, but couldn't buy one.
Well, statistically, they were ahead in almost all departments except the big one on the scoreboard. And, of course, that's the one that counts.
Marcello's got the goal. From McEachern and Pack. So they finally got it right. Maybe. I think it was Stevens. And I'm sure it is now. Officially, Stevens the goal. 1-0. And 55 seconds left in the penalty to Pittsburgh. Chicago with a man advantage. Smith passing it right under the stick of Francis. And he shot it away down the ice. 40 seconds remaining in that penalty to Yager. Roenick didn't handle it cleanly. However, he picked it up and skated away from his check. Here's Sutter. Sutter didn't shoot it. The crowd wanted a shot from him. Chicago passed it around, and that's what passed too many. And Phil Bourque just takes his time before rolling it into the Chicago zone. 20 seconds on the penalty clock. Chicago moving out. Brown coming to center. McEachern caught him. Steve Smith brought it in over the line with Green cutting to the corner. Green passed it back in front of the shot. Knocked out by Barrasso. Not cleared though. Shot in wide of the net. Penalty over right in front of Green. And he just missed. Chicago coming close. Pittsburgh, McEachern and Yager. Yager takes the drop pass. Stick handles in front with a shot. Trying to fool Belfour, who was going the other way. But he missed the net with that low shot.
Well, the Blackhawks, who are now 1 for 11 in power plays in this series, couldn't get the puck by Tom Barrasso. They had a couple of good opportunities. Dirk Graham from the slot on a good shot that Barrasso stopped with his left arm. And then Steve Smith passed it in quickly to Larmer. There's the shot by Graham. They couldn't get it through. And here's the goal they've finally given to Stevens.
Watch Tockins. He's tied up by Steve Smith and did not get the stick out to touch the puck. It got by Belfour anyway. 3 power plays for Chicago tonight. 6 minutes work. They've had 7 shots on those 3 power play tries.
Stevens gets his 12th goal of these 92 playoffs.
McEachern and Pack assisted on the goal. Now Roberts from the blue line. Shot is blocked. Gilbert just dropped in front of him, then knocked it away with his hand. Kuchera having to come back quickly against Yager. He strong-arms him, gets out front. The pass just by Herdina. Herdina on the boards, put it into the corner. Yager there, but lost it to Gilbert. Here's Hudson. Going in on Roberts. Hudson carried into the boards behind the net by Roberts. Chicago can't keep it in. Pittsburgh leading 1-0. 2 minutes into the second period. Harry Murphy back to the net, picking it up, and it's icing called against the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll be right back after this message.
You know, you get these big ideas like right across the country from coast to coast. And sometimes it was hours between getting a square meal. I think that's when I fell in love. I mean, Snickers.
Milk chocolate, caramel, and peanut butter nougat. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
It's the best tasting bar out there, I think. Like they say, Snickers really satisfies. But next time I'm taking the bus.
Czechoslovakians battling for the Stanley Cup. Here, they're battling on a rush as Yager throws Kuchera aside and tries the wrap around unsuccessfully.
And after the icing, the face-off to the left of Ed Belfour. Sutter won it. Against Francis, Chelios kicked it loose. Chicago, 3 men up to center. Rain couldn't pick it up. Off the boards right to Barrasso, and he scooped it up. Held it.
There's a newspaper man from Czechoslovakia covering the series, and in Scotty Bowman's news conference this morning, was there any more questions? And he said, I'm from Czechoslovakia. Why aren't you playing Yuri Herdina more? So he's there to cover the Czechoslovakian players. He was concerned.
Well, there's Scotty. He was in a quiet mood this morning at practice, and then again I talked to him before the game tonight. He's one Stanley Cup away from a dazzling rush down the left wing, cut in past the Pittsburgh defenseman, but then got nothing on the shot. And here it is here from deep into the Chicago zone. He outraces Rick Tocchet. Watch him cut in, get that left leg out, and then watch the shot. Although he was hooked a little bit, in all fairness to him from behind, and perhaps that's why he didn't get much on it. And here he comes from the reverse angle. This guy's a great skater. Barrasso made the save.
Kravchuk bouncing one into Barrasso, and they're going to do it all over again to the left of the Pittsburgh net.
Well, we said earlier, Steve Larmer, Jeremy Roenick, these kind of guys, Michel Goulet, they got to start potting a goal. At least tonight they're getting some chances and haven't had as much luck perhaps as they should have around the goal. But when your scorers aren't scoring and you're playing against a team that is as powerful offensively as the Penguins are, it's tough to beat them 2-1 or 3-2.
Chicago out shooting Pittsburgh nearly 3-1, 16-6 of the shots on goal now. Pittsburgh with the only goal, scored by Stevens, 15:26 of the first. Pittsburgh up there again, intercepted at center, shot back in by Phil Bourque. Chera whipped a pass to the far side, and Chicago back out. Again, it's Larmer, stopped by Yager. Roenick hopping in there. Goulet back to the net. Can't make a play. Mario Lemieux takes it from him. A pass to the right side, in behind Yager. It's fired back in. Barrasso way out of the net. Clear that one. The Blackhawks can't keep it in. It is Yager poking it up there for Bourque. Coming in with Lemieux. The pass hit Lemieux's skate. Now Yager digging it out. Got away. Yager out front. Oh, and a chance for Bourque. Banned on it. He had the open side. In the other corner, Lemieux tied up, and he gets loose now in front of the net. Here's Lemieux. Got by him to the line. Stop. Pittsburgh turning it on now. Lemieux flattened, and there's going to be a penalty to Chicago. A cross-checking penalty against Larmer of the Blackhawks.
Got the show, got the place, gotta win. Go, go, go! They're at the post for the team for a race. Go, go, go! Got the horse, watch it fly down the stretch. Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Go, go, yeah! Put the fun back into winning act. A spin a ball, you down.
Steve Larmer gets the penalty for a cross-check on Mario Lemieux, but before that, as we see Phil Bourque going to the dressing room, there was a terrific battle going on in the corner between Roenick and Mario Lemieux that Koharski was watching as the play went on. But the penalty came after Lemieux got away from Roenick, and that's one of those penalties I can never figure out why players do that with the referee even in camera range, Harry, right behind him.
Jaromir Jagr trying to walk out from behind the net. There's the great chance that Phil Bourque missed, but you're right, that was a foolish penalty by Larmer.
Pittsburgh is leading in a hockey game, 1-0. The series 2-0. And now they have another power play. And he'll come back to start it out. Larry Murphy and Francis are back there. Tocchet, Stevens, and Lemieux up front. Pass to Tocchet. To Lemieux, elbow the line. He stopped. Got it again. Poked it in. And Smith picked it up and cleared it right on the net. 1:20 left in the penalty. Near center, Tocchet saw Stevens. He didn't
tougher and tougher to keep it up. And Pittsburgh are just sitting back there, 3 men back, often 4, waiting for a turnover to pounce on it and get that second goal.
Shots on goal, 17-6. In this period, the Penguins with the power play and all still haven't had a shot. They played 6:01. Chicago on that faceoff. And Short stays in. Graham trying to get loose. He does. Trying to center it now. McEachern comes back for Pittsburgh. Sutter intercepted. Sutter stopped it with a skate on the boards. Only 20 seconds left in the penalty. Long shot is deflected. Graham after it. Pittsburgh trying to move it out. It's as if Chicago had the man advantage. But now, Samuelson and McEachern get together. McEachern shot. Look out! Came off Belfour. Dribbled in behind him, but wide of the net. Penalty is over. Larmer out of the box. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Belfour out of the net. Chera pass along the left wing boards. Now Sutter skating to center. Into the drive. Rasso to save. Larmer has the rebound. Larmer centered it. Sutter twisting around. Heading away from Yager. The shot from a sharp angle. Another penalty coming up. It's going to be against Pittsburgh. Chicago players lying all over the goal area.
Tales of ales and crawfish tails. This one's for me. Oh, Martha, go and open that Kelvinated door. There's a good time beer out there for me. It's Molson Excel. It's quite swell, this Excel. Rolls down easy, smooth and free. It's got that drinkability. Forward taste big drinkers can't put on hold. Molson Excel, let the good times roll.
Defenseman Paul Stanley is one of the pleasant surprises for Pittsburgh in this playoff year. He gets an unpleasant message from Don Koharski. 2 minutes for holding on Steve Larmer. So here we go again with the Blackhawks getting a power play chance. Somewhere in there, the holding penalty was called. The crowd is chanting, cheering loudly. What else is new here in Chicago? But they better get one now. This game is moving right along. They're nearing the halfway mark of the second period. It's still 1-0 Pittsburgh.
They're going to face it off again, Bob. There were 9 guys in the face-off circle by the time the puck hit the ice after Gauthier dropped it, and Koharski walked over and warned them the clock started, so Koharski's coming back to the timer's bench here. The minor officials are from Toronto and add 2 seconds. Kevin Collins watched the clock. He was the back linesman, and they're going to put it 1 back anyway.
Showing now 1:59. They'll get it up to 2 again and start this face-off to the right of Barrasso. And it's being explained to Scotty Bowman now. He agrees.
I think what they'll do, Bob, is they'll hold it for a 1 count and then start it because they have to take it right off the board. And I looked at the inside of the clock and the mechanisms they had practiced. It isn't easy to do.
No problem. Okay, we're set. And from this face-off, Chicago's Chelios pouncing on it. Grab check at the blue line. Just kept it in. But look what he does now. He lifts it high and it got over the glass. So they'll bring it outside for the face-off.
Well, Igor Kravchuk has been a nice addition to the Hawks. He's clearing the snow away. One of the reasons that puck went up into the crowd was that when it came around the boards, he raced over just where the players come off and on the ice out of the gate. And it doesn't take very long before there's some snow there with the players stopping to go in the door. And you can see where he's cleared it. And the puck was rolling out and he got a stick full of snow. He got this puck on it that was rolling and he threw it. Steve Latson, the equipment manager for the Pittsburgh Penguins, took Phil Bourque into the dressing room and I'm sure sharpened his skates.
Chicago moving on the power play. 1:45 left in the penalty. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Chicago on the puck in the Pittsburgh zone. On the boards near the line. It is Chelios losing it. Lemieux up there. Stick handle away from Larmer. Passed it in front. And the play was called back at the line. Offside. Lemieux
he looked up and was moving out to try and take the puck off Mario Lemieux. You got about as much chance of doing that as catching a mosquito between your finger and your thumb on a dark night. And there's what I mean. You can see the offside on the far side.
A minute and 30 seconds left in the power play. Chicago trying to tie it up here in the second period. For certain, they don't want to fall behind 3-0 in this best-of-7 series. It's all but curtains if they do. So here comes Chelios trying to do something about it. Ripped it in on the boards and Berlasso cleared it. Stopped by Larmer, but it's out over the line again and down the ice. Chelios had broken his stick. Pass by Belfort hitting Roenick. Now Kravchuk moved it up. Samuelson shot it away from Newman. Lemieux tossed it to center. Billboard racing in on Kravchuk. Kravchuk stayed with the man, allowing Larmer to come back to pick it up. Now, here's Newman. Pittsburgh were changing. A little bit of room for him as he goes in. But Roenick didn't know which way he was going to turn. Larmer back to Roenick. In along the boards, and again, it's Mario Lemieux there. And he shot it away. He's going off now. 35 seconds left in the power play. Pittsburgh now doing it to Chicago. Killing off this penalty. 25 seconds left on it. Chicago moving again. It is Smith, the defenseman. And he got the center before shooting it in. Francis there. And so for Chicago. Back to Kravchuk. And it's cleared out again by McEachran. Now the fans are getting more than restless. 4 seconds left in the penalty. Stanton ready to come on. And he's on now as Rob Brown passes one to the left side. Goulet going down. High shot. Nowhere near the net. And it ricochets all the way back inside the Chicago line. 1-0. Pittsburgh leading. Second period. Coming up to the halfway mark now. He saw Yager. Yager in. Gets set. Oh, what a great save. Another rebound. And Belfort grabbed that one. And he hangs on to it. 2 big stops by Ed Belfort.
Pittsburgh Penguins, that's the kind of game they're playing. Wait for a turnover, wait for a bad decision, pounce on it, and get the kind of chance that Yager just got.
And we'll be right back after this message.
Your Manitoba Ford Mercury dealer's got the right stuff for Canada's best-selling pickups. Now, get a trim a truck package worth up to $1,000 on compact Ranger and full-size pickups at no extra charge. This limited offer includes protective box liner, box rails, and running boards for the cab. A no-charge trim a truck package worth up to $1,000 plus great cash back.
We're Manitoba Ford and Mercury dealers, and we're winning the West.
See your Manitoba Ford Mercury dealer for your trim a truck package. They've got the right stuff.
Well, young Jaromir Jagr almost put the Penguins up 2-0. A neutral zone turnover right here. It's got by Samuelson. He throws it their pack. He throws a nice pass to Jagr. Jagr has to hesitate to try and get around Marchman. He still backhanded it. And Belfort made a good save with his right pad, and then he made another one with his left pad to keep it at 1-0.
Belfort, remember that tying goal by Jagr on that same tight shot along the ice. He kicked out the right skate that time. And that'll be a big stop indeed. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Armour shooting it in. Pass allowed. Played it on the board. Smith trying to catch him. Took the shot right away, but he missed the net. Here's Chelios. Deflected in front, but look at that. Barrasso again saw it with 2 players standing right in front of him.
Well, Chris Chelios, I think, has been the Hawks' best player in these 92 playoffs. He leads the NHL defenseman in points with 19, and in the plus-minus department with a +19. He plays 35 or more minutes most night, and like all superior players in this league, he comes up with his best efforts when the Hawks most need it.
And he's playing his 121st playoff game tonight. That's tops on the Chicago team. His 3rd Stanley Cup final appearance. He had 2 with Montreal. He's got a cup win on his belt notched. It was in '86 with the Canadiens.
I heard he called Serge Savard after the Pat Burns move and said, Serge, what the heck's going on in Montreal? I was like,
Sutter there for Chicago and Francis for Pittsburgh. These two have seen a lot of each other in this Stanley Cup final on these big face-offs.
Koharski's warned Matto and Stevens. I've given you one chance. I've given you a penalty if you stay out of that circle.
Chicago winning the draw. Chelios trying to get room for his shot. Ariel Lemieux nearly intercepted that to skate away. Matto. Center ice, and Chicago again had to be happy to be able to dump it in. Pittsburgh having them figured, they don't give them much room to carry it in. The Blackhawks move it up over center. Matto did not play it. He would have been offside. Smith shoots it in again. Stopped at the blue line. Here's Tocchet racing in there. Tocchet can't get a shot. And the play is stopped. I don't know if he's called a penalty. He doesn't have his arm up. Koharski. Tocchet called down. Play call.
Harry, after the game the other night in Pittsburgh, Rick Tocchet's parents stopped me. Thank me for, on behalf of all of us, for the nice things we've said about Rick. Can't help but say nice things in this series.
Another neutral zone turnover on a careless shooting gives Tocchet this chance. And Brent Sutter's kind of lucky. He didn't draw that penalty you were talking about, Bob.
No penalty. Face off to the right of Belfour. Here's Roberts from the blue line. He likes not to shoot it, just put it into the corner. Stevens went over after it. But Chicago pick it up and get it out. Roenick takes it on a skate neatly. Comes in. Roenick passes back. Chelios can't get a decent shot. Puck was rolling. Tocchet again coming in there. Gets over in front. He fell. Sweeps it off to the corner. There's a penalty coming up against Chicago. As Chelios picks it up, there's a slashing penalty called against the Chicago Blackhawks. With 9:04 left in the second period, Chelios is going off.
The average price of a car with standard anti-lock brakes is over $50,000. But safety doesn't have to cost a small fortune. Chevy Cavalier, Canada's lowest priced car with standard anti-lock brakes, helps you steer through dangerous curves and around obstacles under extreme braking conditions. And for a limited time, Cavalier comes with even more brakes, like $750 cash back and your choice of no-charge air conditioning or automatic transmission. Chevrolet Cavalier. Times change. Values don't.
Starting to get chances. He gets a slashing penalty. Stanton and Chelios go into the corner. Bit of a delayed call on the part of Koharski, but he made the call, and the Penguins get the power play chance.
It comes at 10:56 of the second period. Pittsburgh with the only goal in the hockey game. 15:26 of the first. Stevens got the goal from a Kecker and impact. And now another power play for Pittsburgh. Murphy tapping it into the corner. Steve Smith is there. Pinned by Francis. The puck coming loose out in front of the net. And Belfour is down. He grabs it again. Stevens is dumped in front of the net. He's hurt. Might have been a high stick. We'll wait. Koharski has not moved nor made a sign. Not yet.
No penalty in that. He just told Stevens it was one of your own player's sticks. Let's have a look at it here. It may. Stevens did an awful twist and a turn. Hard to tell there. There it is. Sutter. Boy, that Sutter must have a great backhand if he can backhand Stevens 30 feet down the ice. Stevens is going to have to go off now because the trainer came out to see him. I'm not going to like that call either. The rule is if the trainer comes out to look at you, you have to go off, at least still on, and maybe he's going to try and test Koharski on this one.
Hiding on that far side.
I thought Mike Keenan or someone on the Hawk team would notice that and bring it to Koharski's attention. Stevens didn't like the taste of Sutter's stick, I guess.
No penalty, call on the play. Face off again in the Chicago zone. 1 minute and 50 seconds. Only 10 seconds gone in the Chelios penalty as they line up for the face-off to the left of Belfour.
Lemieux went over to Stevens and said, now look, don't be retaliating. Gave him a little pat on the back of the helmet.
Here's Francis trying to kick it loose. It's kicked all right, but by the Chicago player to center. Lemieux backing up. With the pass quickly to Larry Murphy. Stevens brings it up over the line. Stevens gets set. Shot it on the boards for Tocchet. Tocchet can't make the play. It's loose for Stevens. Drills one. Stopped by Belfour. He got the right pad on that shot. And Chicago clear it. 1:20 left in the penalty. Pittsburgh is leading 1-0. Here's Larry Murphy. Stick handles his way to the Chicago line and dumped it in. And the Penguins can't keep it in. Noonan trying to knock it loose. He had Larmer up ahead of him. There's Noonan. Tied up. Upended. The crowd calling a penalty. But the play goes right on. And Stevens brings it out. Here's Mario Lemieux over the line. Shoots. Hot shot. And Belfour was sent away on that one. Back it goes to Larmer, and he cleared it. A good hard shot by Lemieux, but stopped by Belfour. 35 seconds left in the power play. Yager dropped it back right onto the stick of the Chicago player, Matto, and he cleared it out. Now Kuchera back in the Chicago zone, being chased by Yager, who knocked him down. Yager poked it out front. It comes to the blue line. Stanley's pass. And now back to Samuelson. Shoots. He missed. 10 seconds left in the power play. Pittsburgh whip it around. On the boards. Lemieux tied up. Matto whacked it high. And it got over the boards at the Pittsburgh bench, and only 3 seconds left of the penalty now.
Well, the Hawks again dodged the bullet with some pretty good penalty killing. And last night, in the only other hockey league that was still operating, the St. John's Maple Leafs took it on the chin from the Adirondack Red Wings. And one of the most amazing features of that series is, Bob, not one team won a home game.
That's a sad graphic.
I was just about to say, Harry, take a look at Bob. He didn't like your announcement.
Now, who says Mario Lemieux cannot shoot the puck or will not shoot it? Here's a 49-footer that Belfour had to make a big stop on, and I'm sure fell.
Mark Crawford and those St. John's Maple Leafs had a tremendous season.
Well, what about Barry Melrose?
First year, wait a minute, now let me finish for once. The first year in the American Hockey League, going all the way to 7 games in the finals. All Barry did pretty well, he won. 7 minutes remaining, second period. 1-0 is the score. Pittsburgh and Yager's coming up. Can't move around on last man, Steve Smith, and then Yager taken in on the boards. And the Blackhawks get it out. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the period. And the net off the pegs in behind Barrasso. That was Larmer who came storming in. And Stanley talking to him.
Over the last 35 years, why have so many people come to Speedy Muffler Paint? Maybe it's because of really great value, like our $99.95 front disc brake package. Maybe it's because they trust Speedy's guaranteed parts, professional work, and licensed brake mechanics. And now, for a limited time, you'll get a free Rubbermaid toolbox with your brake purchase. Professional work, a great deal on brakes, and a free toolbox. No wonder over 10 million customers have come to Speedy. At Speedy, you're a somebody.
This date in history, significant one, gentlemen, May 30th, 1979, and the coach in our coach's corner, moved from Boston. Well, they'd already moved him out of Boston, but he was named head coach of the Colorado Rockies, and Blue and Don quickly posed for a picture that was on the Colorado Rockies press guide the following season.
more fans into that building than the team did, they tell me. 6:42 to play in a period. Chicago still looking for their first goal at home in the Stanley Cup final. Boy, Pittsburgh seems to have the number of the Chicago Blackhawks.
You know, Don talking about Tretiak, saying to him how he watched Coach's corner. My question is this how Tretiak is trying to learn English?
Well, he spent a lot of time out there with Waite and with Hasek after practice. And Bob Pulford was telling me that the three goaltenders really thrive on Tretiak's instructions. So whatever language he's using, he's getting the attention of the three people that he's supposed to have.
Pack couldn't clear it by Brown, but Pack will come back. And Rob Brown rubbed him on the boards behind the net. Brown tied up, trying to chase it in the corner. Jim Pack again. Lost it. Chicago forechecking with authority now. But here's Pack intercepting and getting it ahead for Trottier. The Blackhawks shoot it back in. At the blue line. Marchman had it jump over his stick. Look at Belfort. He's 50 feet out of the net and was bumped by Trottier and fell. But he's back in now. Out again. Not back in for long. Shot it back at the goal of Marchman. And Marchman had to shoot it down the ice. That will be icing unless Barrasso plays it. He does not. Icing is called against Chicago.
Both these goalies are very acrobatic. They love to come out and stop shootings and grab pucks and make passes. And they both have an amazing number of errors, or few errors, because in this rink, everyone's a little closer to you.
And Belfort in the pregame skate. I wonder if he's a goaltender when he's not on the ice does as much skating before a game as he does. He just goes round and round and round.
Well, it's a great help to have a goaltender who can come out in this kind of a building, especially, and stop shoot-ins and make that outlet pass. You know, they get into trouble with everybody when they make a pass to the wrong team, but that's a 1 in about 30 for these guys. They're both strong assets to their team on the breakout. Roenick just warned Belfort that he might shoot.
He did. And he missed the far corner. Chicago. Are they running out of patience? Chelios takes it at center. Had to shoot it in. Didn't quite make the play he wanted. That's Goulet, and here's Roenick. Larmer can't get a shot. Had a chance to drive on. He was about 25 feet. And Barrasso had little problem with that roller.
Well, there is Tretiak, the Soviet great Hall of Fame and our Canadian Sports Hall of Fame and the Hockey Hall of Fame as well. Jack Davison sitting alongside him, shaking his head.
What do we have to do to score, he said. I remember Tretiak, who used to do that to Canadian teams or NHL teams in those great Super Series.
The crowd getting into it again. Please. A goal. Here's Kuchera trying it. He missed. And Kravchuk has to come all the way back. 5 minutes remaining in the second period, and it's still 1-0. A first period goal by Kevin Stevens. Pittsburgh leading Chicago. Chopped out of the zone and down the ice. Kravchuk coming back. They'll call it icing against Pittsburgh. 4:46 to play. Shots are 18-11 now. Favor of the Blackhawks.
Camry's body
Toronto Maple Leafs, Pat Burns and I chatted yesterday. You'll hear that, plus the best of Mario Lemieux, his greatest goals of all time, coming up at the end of the second period here at Chicago Stadium.
A bit of time for that one.
Well, I admire the Hawks. They're playing the same way they did when they started the game, and they are frustrated, I'm sure. They can't get a goal, but they haven't changed.
up there with him. Passed in front and offside. Called back at the line. It was Trottier on the left wing.
Brian Trottier has been used a lot tonight by Scotty Bowman to take face-offs in the Pittsburgh zone. Ron Francis is the other center that Scotty goes to, but I don't think Francis is having as much success against the Hawks as he did against the Boston Bruins, so we see Trottier a few more times. Fourth in the all-time playoff scoring point race with 184 points. He just slipped by Mr. Anderson of Edmonton and now the Leafs.
And 39 seconds remaining in the second period. First period goal by Kevin Stevens, 15-26. And it wasn't what you call a pretty goal. A shot from inside the blue line, hit a couple of sticks. The last one belonging to Stevens. But Keckner got an assist. It was Jim Pack who got the other assist. And it was he who took the shot from the blue line.
Keckner and Rob Brown, Pensy. One and the other before the puck was dropped. Koharski's warned the players a number of times about doing this on face-offs, not very often in the neutral zone. And now he's talking to Brown. Now he's going over to get some water in his whistle. He broke his whistle. He's Skip Sayer gets a laugh out of that one. There it is. The old whistle's working. Let's get on with the game.
We've got Roberts being waved out. He came on late, I guess.
Scotty tried to sneak him out there while the confusion about Mr. Koharski's whistle was going.
And Old Samuelson is on. Penguins shoot it in, and they change very quickly. 4:30 left in the period. Chelios has Lemieux chasing them. Green couldn't get the pass. Lemieux tucked it back to the blue line. Now stopped by Chelios, and he played it ahead. Sutter is up there with Brown. Sutter trying to beat Murphy on the rush along the boards, but Murphy stayed with him all the way and now pins him. And now Sutter gets loose. Comes back near the line. Nobody was back there, so he put it up behind the net. Here comes Chelios pinching in. And it was chopped down the ice by Stevens. Lemieux stole it. Comes in with the pass to Murphy, but in front of him. Chicago. Ron Brown. Played it on the boards for Green. Back to Brown. Brown can't get a shot. Lemieux had him covered. Chicago on it. In front of the net. Scramble and Lemieux there, but Chelios stopped that. Now Larmer shot one right on the stick of Lemieux. He threw it ahead to Tocchet. He's alone going in. Tocchet and stopped by Belfour. Twice tonight, Lemieux has set him up. Twice Belfour robbed him. Here's Lauder now. Good chance. The shot was deflected wide. Again, it's back to the line. Marchment. High drive missing. Roenick is on it. Chicago pressing through the crease. Yager knocked it out to center, and he's trying to get away. He was stopped by Marchment near center, but here's Trottier. Over the line with a shot. Gloved by Belfour. Puck was loose, and here's Stevens. He didn't know Belfour had lost his stick. Here's Yager around the net. He gets away from a couple. Back to the line. Samuelson. That's stopped by Belfour. He looks around, but no need. He has stopped it. Boy, what a burst of action at both ends right there.
That's the best sustained bit of entertainment that we've had in the hockey game, and our replay machine worked overtime through all of that. Chances. First one team, then the other.
Both goaltenders have been great tonight. Tocchet gets his second breakaway of this evening and has the same results. This one's a little clearer. Marchment can't catch him. Tocchet looks up and then fakes the shot and then loses the puck. And Chicago had a great chance as well. And Tom Barrasso came up on a long pass. And Larmer makes that little move from his right to his left to give him some daylight, but then can't get it by Barrasso. And then finally, Trottier shoots it from 31 feet out, and Belfour makes the save just as Yager was going to chip it in.
at Belfour again. 2:44 left in the period. It's still 1-0 Pittsburgh. First period goal, Kevin Stevens. And it has stood up so far. Face off to the right of Belfour. Hudson. And Francis tied up. Rob Brown had to play it in a hurry. Got it as far as the line. It's kept in. Chicago trying to move it out. It's Hudson to center. Up over the Pittsburgh line. And Bork got back. McCutcheon has that speed and going in. On the backhand. He's tied up by Kravchuk. He centered it. Nobody could reach it. Kuchera back out with Hudson. Hudson on the blue line. Shot it in. Noonan going after Pack. Pack sidestep Noonan. Kuchera pinching in against McCutcheon, who nailed it out to center ice. The Blackhawks can't keep it in. 2 minutes remaining in the period. Two teams are changing now as Kravchuk starts this rush. The pass too far for Peluso, and that is icing against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Tom Peluso hasn't played very much in this period. Brown has played a lot more as the Hawks are looking for a little offense. I'd be a little concerned that Chelios and Smith are getting a little tired. They both made unusual giveaways here in the second period. And at practice this morning, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Chicago had a very stiff morning practice by game day skates. And Chelios and Smith were out there as every other Hawk was. And you have to wonder, when they start playing 35 minutes a night, do they need that morning skate the day of the game and miss their 100-and-something game? I know they both have great endurance, but there is a limit. Chelios played 12 minutes and 54 seconds in the first period, so it's going to be 37, 38 minutes in a game where one mistake could cost you the game.
Listen, they've been doing that every second night when you think about it for quite some time now.
That's my point about the morning practice.
Oh, boy. Well, Morasso steps out. Stops it. Penguins up to Mario Lemieux, and he takes over at center ice. Brings it over the line. Cruising in there. Flip one in. And Belfour had difficulty with that one. A very weak shot just thrown at the net by Lemieux, and he juggled it.
Crowd here tonight, 18,472.
Used to announce in Chicago 16,666. Remember that? There were 20,000 people in the building, but that was the fire law. We just taking a look at that shot by Mario. William Wirtz, who was never known to challenge Bob Hope, said at the All-Star dinner in 74, he said, we have a great city, we have a great team, we have a great mayor, and we have a great fire commission.
And they're going to get out of this great ring in 2 years. What a sad day that will be.
Manteau for Chicago. Chelios. Ahead it goes to Grant, and he shoots it in. Sutter was up there. Picks it up back to the net. Got a pass back. Chelios shot. That hit the stick of Mario Lemieux. Off it goes to the corner. Centered again, but tipped back by Sutter. And Smith couldn't reach it. You heard it. We're in the final minute of the second period. And Sutter moves in. Murphy will pin him on the boards. Murphy slapped it to the line and stopped. Smith winding up. Shooting. The rebound is there, and so is Mario Lemieux. They shut it out. 40 seconds remaining in the period. Pittsburgh changing. 1-0. The Penguins are leading. Stevens. Make sure that Chelios can't get loose. Now Tackett is in. So is Francis. Tackett backhands it toward the net. 25 seconds left in the period. Chelios takes his time. The pass off the skate of Roenick. He's in after it. Standing back there. Roenick hit him. Roenick trying to center it. 15 seconds left. Farmer's high blast. Goes off the glass. Chelios shot it back to the net. Hawks pressing. 7 seconds left. Pittsburgh hanging on. And Bork kills the clock by shooting it up to center ice. Catherine brought it in as the siren goes to end the second period. And 2-period shot total is 19 by Chicago and 14 by Pittsburgh. First period goal by by Stevens. That's it. So the score after 2, Pittsburgh 1, Chicago nothing.
Pat Burns, we're live into the Chicago telecast this evening, but this is yesterday from Toronto, where you've just come from Montreal. I imagine it's been a pretty exciting 24 hours. Tell me about it.
Well, it's been a pretty, I guess, moving 24 hours because everything went on this week, and when I left Montreal this morning, a bit brokenhearted, but I came into Toronto just raring to go.
Yeah, when you flew away from the city, what went through your mind? What were the sweetest moments that you recalled, and what can you reflect upon?
Well, I have a lot of great memories in Montreal. It was a great 5 years in that organization, and I think it became time for me and for the organization, and it would be best for everybody that I did move on. And I think that if there's one place everybody says, well, why would you go from one hockey mecca to the other? I guess it's because I like it, and I think coming here in Toronto, I'm excited about it. I like Cliff Fletcher. I like the way he thinks. He's got this boat turned up the right way, and I guess I'm on the boat too, and if we can get 20 little sailors every night to be working hard, we should do all right.
Dick Irvin Jr. will be upstairs smiling about a man who's gone from one of the great Canadian cities to the other. As you move into Toronto, everybody knows there might have been other possibilities, such as Los Angeles. Speak about why you chose Teal.
Well, I think it's part of the original six. It's part of the same kind of hockey mecca as Montreal, where everybody talks hockey and thinks hockey, and that was important to me. I think being brought up as a young Canadian boy, that to have that feeling, and it makes you a much better coach, and it makes this team probably a bit better too, and we're going to try to make the Maple Leafs a better team than it was.
It's been a long way watching all the Hull Olympics play for the Chicago Blackhawks, whom you coached. You never thought you'd coach both the Canadians and the Leafs, I'm sure.
Well, I think Dick Irvin Sr. went the other way, and I've come from Montreal to Toronto. He went from Toronto to Montreal, but it's a funny feeling right now. It'll probably sink in a week from now or whatnot, but I just wish we were starting tomorrow morning, and I wish we were in those Stanley Cup playoffs right now.
And now that you're here, you can straighten grapes out too on a more regular basis. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you very much.
Ironically, it was 1 year ago during the Stanley Cup final that Cliff Fletcher grabbed the headlines with his decision to leave the Calgary Flames. Now, 24 hours ago, he addressed the acquisition of Burns.
When we were in a position of looking for a coach, we obviously wanted a top-notch man, and we were prepared to be patient to wait to see if any developments unfolded in any city that had a top-notch coach. And when Don Meehan called me on Wednesday and suggested that Pat Burns may be available, did we have interest? It only took us 24 hours to make a deal.
40-year-old Pat Burns, the 1989 NHL Coach of the Year, set to go to work at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Here at Chicago Stadium, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins by 1. Their star, Mario Lemieux, and his greatest goals all time. Coming up next as our coverage of the Stanley Cup Championship continues in a moment. The stadium's a building where Glenn Hall became famous for pregame nausea and great goaltending, and we thought in this intermission you'd enjoy a few current goalies who felt sixes to their stomach.
Look at this. Mario Lemieux coming to center, trying to fool Bork, and does! Look out! Scores! Have you ever seen such finesse?
That's Glenn Miller's In the Mood, but really it's Mario Lemieux's String of Pearls. 15 goals in these Stanley Cup playoffs, 4 shy of the record for one playoff year, 43 now in his career. It's Pittsburgh leading 1-0. More on Molson Hockey Night in Canada and the Stanley Cup playoffs in a moment.
Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
Poor Gilly Gilbert, and you wonder why Don Cherry has it in for Scotty Bowman. Guy Lafleur in the goal that tied Game 7 of the semifinal in 1979. Lambert scored in overtime. The Canadians won the series and went on to meet New York and won the Stanley Cup. Here in Chicago, if you've got a ticket, you can barge right in, and 17,000 plus have been treated to a great game so far. Third period action next as our coverage of the Stanley Cup continues on Hockey Night in Canada.
Grand old building, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are just 20 minutes away now from taking a 3-0 lead in the series. Chicago have other ideas about that, I'm sure, but it's 1-0. Pittsburgh going into period number 3. Chelios ripped it in right off the bat. Chicago on it. Matzo stick handles in front and lost it. Tocchet cleared the zone. There's Stevens coming up over the line, and he stopped. Woody Roberts fading all the way back. Lost it in front of the net, but Barrasso, ever alert, cleared it. Now Roberts shot it away to Tocchet. Tocchet and Smith buck together. Tocchet backhands it in over the Chicago line. Dirt Green and center ice and just rolled it in. The two teams are changing very quickly. Tocchet eluding the Rob Brown hit. Laid on the boards at the far side by Kravchuk. And Pittsburgh back to pick it up. There's Hudson racing after Phil Bourque. Noonan hit him. And the puck is taken by Murphy. McEachern nailed by Kucherov. Francis, a pass to the line. And old Samuelson shot it up over the line off Bourque's stick. McEachern coming in, stopped it with a skate. McEachern again, put it out in front of the net. And Belfour pushed it ahead. Brown got it out to center ice, and Noonan rolled it in. A minute and a half into the third. McEachern lost it at the blue line as he tried to clear it with his skate. Goulet is hit on the boards. Larmer centered it right in front of the net. And Ronick had a great chance. Went off the heel of his stick, I think. Ronick set up very close. Larmer again with Ronick turning at center. Ronick is going off. And out comes Belfour as Smith gets back with Chelios. Chelios to the right wing. Goulet for Larmer. Pass is just not clicking onto the skates rather than the stick. Now Chelios comes up, poked at it. Penguins get it up to center ice. Yager trying to race in on Smith. Yager beats him to it. Yager stealing it. Put it in for Loney around the net. Tried to wrap around, and Belfour stopped him. Yager and Lemieux. Lemieux got it back. Pat shot. That one, a weak one and wide. Yager again. Smith carried him in the corner. They hold it. Now Yager is knocked to the ice. Loney comes out front and tried to jam it in. And the play is called. He stopped the play as Yager got close along with Loney.
In a community that has witnessed a total eclipse of the sun every Saturday for nearly 12 years, a new Saturday sun has arrived and changed people's lives. For the better, they tell us.
I think they've done something very interesting. They've made Saturday's paper bigger than Sunday's. And it's still 50
When you
cents.
open it up, it doesn't take up a lot of space if you're on a bus or in a restaurant.
We like the TV listings because we've got kids now, and the Sun has the most complete movie listings in town.
My, oh my, Saturday's paper.
Chicago's number one forward. The drive doesn't get through. It was blocked by Green. Murphy got that in time to stop Manteau. The Blackhawks shoot it down the ice. That'll go right on the net. They get a chance to change. Tocchet missed it. Mitch Larmer backing up. Again, a missed pass. Stanley in for Pittsburgh off the blocker of Balfour. 1-0 Pittsburgh. And they're nearing the 4-minute mark of the third period. And that is icing against the Chicago Blackhawks. Tonight's game is coming to you from Chicago.
Check the map.
Cancel that order, guys.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let's see. You want a Coke? No, I'm making a Pepsi. Well, what's the dip? You said that.
The difference is one tastes better.
This one.
You chose Pepsi.
The majority of soft drink users tested prefer the taste of Pepsi over Coke Classic.
You want sausage or pepperoni? What's the dip?
You have to like this stat for the Hawks in the playoffs. But what about getting a goal in the third period? Tonight they need one in the worst way. And I can see the game slowly shifting to Pittsburgh as they seem to have more energy than do the Hawks tonight.
Francis won the draw, tried to get it back. But then Gilbert got a stick on it. Stanton with the pass back to old Samuelson. Kravchuk stopped it at center. Gilbert tried to move in. And Kuchera was the only one back, and he cleared it. Rob Brown saw Noonan, couldn't get on the puck. And here's Francis with McEachern. McEachern coming in on with the brakes. And it's tied up. Kravchuk just carried him in on the boards. Gilbert out. Right wing pass to Noonan, who shot it in. Shell Samuelson. McEachern lifted a high one down the ice. And the Blackhawks come back as the Penguins are changing. Pass ahead to Rob Brown. He poked it down the ice. Larmer is in there against Loney. Chicago has to play it. They do. But then Yager steals it. Skates back out. The pass. Back to the line. Shell Samuelson drilled it. And there's Balfour again. Right on the spot to take that shot.
Well, the Hawks starting to get caught. Or odd man rushes through the neutral zone against them. And here I'm talking about right here, a four-man rush, nicely executed. Samuelson, 23, is the fourth man in the rush. And he tests Balfour with about a 30-footer. Balfour made the save, but the Hawks, in their determined attempt to make the Penguins turn the puck over in the forecheck, are getting trapped trying to do it.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Harry, they're playing a good hockey game, but they're short on the scoreboard by one goal. 1-0. The only goal by Stevens in the first period in 15:26. And the Blackhawks can't buy one. They have one off the post. Chelios now. Rasso, the low shot. Made that save easily.
Brent Sutter's another guy, Dick, that you mentioned when we talked about the apparently tiring off team. This guy's played a lot of hockey. You know, he's not a smooth skater. He doesn't take an easy stride. He's played a ton. He's not a big, strong guy. And you wonder if he's starting to wear down a little bit.
Well, he's got the added mental burden, I guess you could say, Harry, of covering Mario Lemieux.
That would tire you out for sure.
Give you a headache. Nothing else. Puck over the boards at the Pittsburgh bench.
You're fighting the crowd. The amazing thing is it's taken that long.
2:03 left in the third period. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
The first manager I worked for in Halifax told me something that's always stuck with me. She said banking for our customers was a few big things connected by hundreds of little things, which means no job or transaction is ever too big or too small not to be handled pleasantly and well. Everything's important. Call it sweating the details if you want. I've tried to pass that attitude along to the team here. It's good to know it still works.
That's him. This is Lou Varga, the longtime trainer with the Hawks. His son Johnny played junior hockey in the WHL for the Tacoma Rockets. He's eligible for the 92 draft. Supposed to go in the 3rd or 4th round. Lou, quite proud father to say the least. He got lots of his hockey training practicing with the Hawk players as he grew up here in Chicago. It's a nice story for a Chicago boy.
Jocelyn Lemieux with Rob Brown and Noonan for Chicago now. Murphy skipped away from Noonan. Went crashing into the boards. Rob Brown went in there. The puck in the corner, and Lemieux tried to knock it loose from Gordy Roberts, who fell.
Last time the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup, much advertised, of course, 1961. Don Cherry mentioned seeing Reggie Fleming in the building this morning. Reggie was on that team. Another fellow who was on that team, who was a brief visitor to the practice this morning, Stan Mikita, who looks like he could step out and play. I got this name for Reggie if he admits it, but Stan says. Another member of that team was Bill Hay, who was the president of the Calgary Flames now. 1961. Harry, it's a long time between drinks of the Stanley Cup month, but it's the only win this franchise has had in 54 years. And there's Stan's number 21 retired, along with Tony Esposito's number 35, Glenn Hall's number 1, and Bobby Hull's number 9.
Sutter on there again for Chicago. Matto to the left and Grain to the right. Pittsburgh now protecting a 1-goal lead as they near the 7-minute mark of the third period. Sutter flipped it in. They're offside.
Fans starting to get on the Blackhawks, Harry, a little bit here. They just don't have it going. They have not had a shot in this period, which is now 6:24 gone.
Well, they live off the shoot-in the forecheck, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, a great strategy against that. The defensemen just get it and dump it out into the neutral zone, and the forwards are heading in to cause a turnover in the neutral zone. And so there's nothing fancy about it. They're not looking for the clever breakout. Scotty Bowman, one of the master innovators of the game, told me that he's looked at some Minnesota North Star tapes of last year in the playoffs, and the North Stars seemed to do such a good job against the Hawk forecheck. He came up with the idea that seems to be working for him now.
Here's Steve Smith. Smith against Lemieux at center, rolled it ahead, and it is Lemieux coming back. Take the shot, Tocchet is with him, he takes the pass. Low shot, turned aside by Belfour, back in front to Lemieux, turns, shoots it in, and Belfour decides he better hang on to it this time. Stevens was right there. It was Stevens who has scored the only goal of the game, 15:26 of the first period.
Mario Lemieux reached 1,000 points in 513 NHL games. Only Wayne Gretzky has got to this milestone faster, 424 games. He leads the NHL playoffs in points with 31. He has 5 game-winning goals, and I've come to the conclusion that the Hawks really have to outplay the Pittsburgh Penguins by about 15 or 20% in the game, or this guy will win it for them.
Social note. Mario announced tonight in an interview on La Soirée de Hockey he's being married in Montreal, June 26th, 1993.
He's got the whole thing planned out, hasn't he?
Jell Samuelson shot. That came close. It went over the shoulder of Belfour, the outside of the post. Puck is knocked to the line. Yager on it, knocked away from him. Offside has been called.
He just hopes the playoffs are over next year by June 26th.
The 84 games, 2 new teams. He may be going right from the rink in his uniform to the church. The Hawks are
Chicago. Here's Sutter. His pass, a good one. Chelios on the rush. In with Banjo, and he dumped it toward the net. Wiped away by Barrasso out of the zone. They're nearing the halfway mark of the third period. It's still 1-0 Pittsburgh. Steve Smith taking the shot in from center ice. That's Larmer in the corner, falling. Puck is loose again, though. Near the line, Chelios in front of the net. Turning shot, picked out by Barrasso. Goulet turning and letting a shot fly. Penalty coming up. An interference call in behind the play. And it's a penalty against Pittsburgh. Impact.
Something else till you make the time, yeah. Real life is the bottom line. Golden clear, be afraid to. When you're done doing what you do, OB, clear, cold, real life beer.
This series, Pittsburgh Penguins have outscored the Chicago Blackhawks 8-2. And when you score 2 goals every 6.5 periods, you're not going to win very often. But the fact remains tonight they're still only down by 1.
Well, this is it now. You have that feeling for sure. I know this crowd of over 18,000 has that feeling that maybe, just maybe, somebody can knock one by Tom Barrasso. They've only had 18 shots in the hockey game, but they have a big power play opportunity here in the third period with 9:45 left. Now the Pittsburgh penalty killers, Lemieux, Francis, Murphy, and old Samuelson. The Chicago power play. Sutter, Larmer, Roenick, Kravchuk, Chelios. Let's see how this works. The crowd anticipating maybe a scoring play by the Blackhawks here in Game 3. Pittsburgh winning the first 2 at home.
Chelios coming to the linesman to say that Ron Francis has to have his helmet done up. Maybe he needs a little longer rest. Chelios has played a ton of hockey. Koharski's now telling Scotty Bowman he has to change players. And there's Sutter complaining about the delay here. Ron Francis helmet's ready to go, and so is he. And Koharski's trying to get this game underway.
And now we're set on the face-off. It's the Blackhawks getting it in. Knocked down at the line by Larmer. Backhands it toward the corner. It's cleared immediately by Murphy. Kravchuk got it back for Chelios to Kravchuk. Up to center, lost it. Francis poked it down the ice. Minute and a half left in the power play, and Chelios just takes his good time going back. Now he mishandles it. The puck comes to center, and Roenick has to back up now. Here's Chelios in with a shot. So the save. In the corner, Larmer and Sutter trying to get it off the boards. Alt Samuelson ripped it on the boards and got it by everybody down the ice. 1 minute gone in the penalty. Chicago without a shot on the net. The exception of that long one by Chelios. Chelios stick and out of the zone. 10 seconds left in the penalty. Chelios hit Lemieux with the pass. 5 seconds left in the penalty. That'll do it. Chicago unable to score on the power play. They're even strengths now. As Pack is out of the penalty box. Back to center. Rob Brown. Pass ahead. Stopped by Pack. Into Trache. He gave it away. Noonan turns back for Chicago. Going up over the line. He has the breakaway waiting on goal. And Barrasso stopped him cold. The Blackhawks can't keep it in. Great chance, but Barrasso brilliant. Hawks come in again. Noonan once more had to go to the boards this time. Gordy Roberts, frame after him. And it's Murphy kicking the puck ahead and skating with it now. 3 Penguins on this rush. Here's a shot gloved by Belfour, and we have 7 minutes. And 11 seconds remaining in the third period. It is 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Who can you count on to help make your family budget go further? Count on Chrysler. With Dodge Spirit and Plymouth Acclaim, you get a 6-passenger family sedan equipped the way you like it, with air conditioning, automatic transmission, stereo, and a whole lot more. Now, for a limited time, all for $12,999, including $1,250 cash back. Or choose 5.9% financing over 48 months. Go ahead. Dare to compare Spirit Acclaim to Corsica and Grand Am. Advantage. Chrysler.
Tom Barrasso has been very strong in goal for Pittsburgh tonight, especially in the first period. And here's an example of how he's played. Brown from the top of the circle, rips one, and Noonan can't bury the rebound. Gives you that feeling some goalies give you that you're not going to get one on.
24 shots now by Chicago in this hockey game.
2 minutes and 15 seconds. Tom Barrasso has barred the net.
1-0 Penguins. Rocket trying to get one from a sharp angle. Belfour stopped that. Hudson got as far as center and it was cut off. Ariel Lemieux shoots it back in. And Kucherov takes it behind the goaltender. Moves it out to the left side. Up to center ice. Penguins keep checking the Chicago Blackhawks now. Everybody doing his job. Blackhawks don't get much room to maneuver. And mostly it's out between the two blue lines. Stanley on the boards. Kucherov pinching in. But the Penguins get it out. Shot back in. Barrasso missed it. They are changing on the fly. And the puck goes all the way down the ice. Smith back. To Larmer. Larmer got it on the boards ahead. Roenick's pass went back. And Larmer was dumped by Charles Samuelson trying to go in. Here's Chelios stopping it. Takes a low shot. Blocked in front by Samuelson, and the Penguins are on the move again. And Catford in there. Fired a shot across in front of Belfour to the far side. 6 minutes left in the third. Chelios trying to do it. Put a shot in on Barrasso. That's no problem. He gloved it.
You know what he tried to do there? He faked the shoot into the corner and put it on the net, hoping Barrasso would leave the net to get the shoot in.
You can go as far as your heart can see, beyond any road that you want to be, 'cause it's your day.
But it's a 1-0 hockey game. The goaltenders normally to the fore. Indeed, that has been
whistle. So Mike Keenan has them together again on the ship. Noonan won the draw and didn't know it. Puck was in his skates. Conte jumped on it. Set up the play and it's shut down again. 5:35 to play in the third. From center. Lemieux shot it in. Got it on the boards. Now Kravchuk shot it ahead to him. Jocelyn Lemieux. Back to the line it goes. Here's the screen shot. And that just missed. The Penguins will bring it down. Yager shot it to center ice. In goes Loney, dropped it back, and there was Noonan. Noonan is coming in. Lemieux shot. A weak one, and he was wide to the short side. Penguins bring it out again. From center, Loney lifted one in. He's gone off on a change. 4:55 remaining in the third. Here's Gilbert with room. And offside is called. It's still 1-0. Pittsburgh. A slim lead.
No other minivan has won the hearts of so many Canadian families. Built in Canada by Canadians, the best-selling Chrysler Magic Wagon now carries another proud achievement. Winner of the Canada Award for Business Excellence in Quality, Chrysler. All you have to do is drive one.
Stay tuned for our Molson 3-star selection, and with 4:53 left on a 1-0 hockey game in favor of his team, you'd have to think Tom Morales will learn more than passing notice from our board of strategy that picks the stars at the end of every playoff game.
Talkin takes the face-off on the Mario Lemieux line. Stevens, the other forward for Pittsburgh. It's Steve Smith now with Gilbert. His head down, but Murphy elected to play the puck. He did, took it away from him and gave it a Tocchet. He shot it away. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third period in Game 3. Chicago trying to climb back into the series. And they have to win tonight. They know it to do that. It is Gilbert again. Coming in, trying to drive for the net. The pass to Green. Out of his reach. It's shot away. And that's going to be called in the icing. Smith back in 4:09 left in the third. Goal by Stevens in the first period. 15:26. He deflected a shot from Pack into the net.
This has been an awfully long haul. No goals for Mike Keenan and Scotty Bowman. The team has played nearly a perfect defensive game, and they really started the game defensively, trying to get out of the first period alive, got that goal when they were outplayed, and now have done a masterful job of frustrating the Hawks. The Hawks can't shoot it in and get it, and aren't allowed to carry it over the blue line very often and make them play on the rush.
Charged in there, but the puck squirting loose right to McEachern. He just shot it in. Jim Pack back. Trying to get away from Francis. Under 4 minutes remaining in the third. Kravchuk in the corner. Pittsburgh, 2 players in deep now. Forechecking. Sometimes that's costly. It's Roenick coming out. Roenick gets it over the line. Turns the other way. Centered it. Just out of the reach of Brown. Pittsburgh Penguins come up again. Bill Bort carried over the line, backs off, circles
zone. Driven back in by Tocchet. 1:55 to play in the third period. Well, here come the Blackhawks. The center is shot by Sutter in off the boards to the right of Barrasso, who's out of the net. Gilbert after it. Shell Samuelson knocked him down. There's Dirk Crane picking it out. Back of the net, Gilbert missed it. And the Penguins will bring it out again. Tocchet and Bourque. Long high shot over the net. Tocchet grabs the rebound. Pounds it in behind the net. A minute and a half left. Belfour will be leaving that net. And he's sucking now. Gilbert from center shoots it in. 1:15 to play. Belfour hasn't budged. And it's shot near the line. Chelios moving up there. Center net right in. Goulet stopped by Barrasso. 1:05 left. Belfour is still in the net. And Chicago is offside with 1:04 remaining in the third period. It is Pittsburgh 1, Chicago no score.
A guy who has scored over 500 goals in the National Hockey League, Harry, has a chance. Dead center, slot area. What a stop by Tom Barrasso.
Pittsburgh bench just screaming at Koharski. Here's the chance right here. What a nice play by Chelios to get the puck to him. But when the puck went out and came back into the zone, the Pittsburgh bench went wild trying to talk the linesman into calling it an intentional offside and that the puck should come all the way down into the Chicago zone. The timeout's being called. Now, Scotty Bowman could not get the players he wanted on the ice, as Koharski remembered who was out there and who came off. So in order to do it, he called the timeout. Now he can put anybody out there he wants. So Bowman, it's pretty tough to trick this guy when he wants to get players out on the ice. A smart play late in the game by a smart coach.
Now, minute 4 left. There was a flurry inside the Pittsburgh blue line, Harry, starting with about a minute 20, minute 15 to go. But there was no move to pull the goaltender at that time. Doesn't that surprise you? Because just a little over a minute to go, Belfour never moved.
Well, unless you have clear control of the puck in the offensive zone, I think it's better to wait on a whistle.
Well, we must make mention of the fact, somewhere along the way, Ron alluded to it off the top of the show, but it was 50 years ago, 1942, Toronto Maple Leafs became the only team to win the Stanley Cup Final Series after being behind 3-0. They were trailing the Detroit Red Wings. Pete Langell scored the cup-winning goal that year in a historic cup victory in Toronto.
It's been a strange game. It wasn't a clean goal, the only one so far. Stevens had tipped in on a shot to the blue line at 15:26 of the first. Now we're in the final minute. Belfour hasn't moved yet. And the puck is in the crowd to the right of Barrasso. And the big question now is whether
no, it's not all Samuelson.
Larry Murphy.
It's Larry Murphy that hit him. And Chelios cross-checked him from behind and then jumped on him, and he's going to get a game. I know it doesn't mean much with 30 seconds to go, but a game for being the instigator in this fight. And there are still some players talking to each other. A complete example of the totally frustrated Chicago Blackhawks as the Pittsburgh Penguins are 30 seconds away from putting Chicago in almost an impossible situation, being down 3-0.
Well, they were hammering each other while the play was going on. Chelios had moved in after the Penguins failed to clear the zone, and he stayed in right beside the net. And he and Murphy started to go at it. Now, there's the beginning of it there. Murphy, Chelios turned, and they just kept hammering one another. The puck came out of the zone, and as you say, there's the spear.
Well, Chelios took 3 cross-checks in the back of the head to start with, and he hasn't forgotten it, and he keeps going right here. Murphy's turning him down, and finally Tom Barrasso comes out and gets into it. The face-off will definitely come outside the zone as Chelios was offside, and I think that Koharski is going to get rid of 2 or 3 players here, especially Chris Chelios is gone. He's standing at the end of the rink. Ryan Newman bringing his stick of gloves over.
Chris Chelios, 5 minutes for fighting in a game misconduct in 1929. Blackhawk penalty, Chelios, 5 minutes for fighting in a game misconduct in 1929.
1929. So Chelios is the only penalized player as a result of that. A 5-minute fighting penalty plus a game misconduct.
Well, there was no question about that call. It was a one-man fight.
This game, up to this point, with 30 seconds left in regulation, has had just 8 minor penalties. But Chelios lost his cool.
Koharski's done an excellent job tonight at not over-refereeing this game, allowing the teams to play, calling them when he had to, and kept control of a game. It's been this close for this long under these circumstances. Everyone's on edge. This calm referee kept it in shape.
The face-off will be out into the center ice area, just outside the Pittsburgh line, and Ed Belfour remains on the Chicago bench. And Chicago has 6 skaters out there looking for the puck. Make it 5 now with the Chelios major penalty.
Fans throwing debris on the ice and causing this the long delay. This doesn't help the Chicago situation at all.
Shots are 27-20 in favor of Chicago. They're unable to beat Barrasso. They did have some quality scoring chances, especially here in the 3rd period. But Barrasso has been solid. Now Chelios with a major penalty and the net empty, but Chicago will have just the 5 skaters. And only 30 seconds left.
Well, it's a tough night for Ed Belfour. He's been under some fire. He, I think, learned his lessons well from his goaltender coach, Vladislav Tretiak, because he played much better tonight, much more confidently, as we pointed out earlier in the broadcast. He has stopped 19 of the 20 shots, and you have to say that the shot that beat him back in 15-26 in the first period wasn't exactly the clean-cut kind of goal. It bounced around and finally in the net. He had no chance on it. Hit one of his own players in the way, and now we get the idiot fringe in the crowd holding things up. Scattered. This isn't a deluge of debris from the upper regions of the Chicago Stadium, but there's enough of it to hold up the game.
Well, in the last 17 years, only 2 teams won the Cup that scored less than 300 goals for in the season they won it. Philadelphia in 75 and the Islanders in 80 are the exceptions, and in the last 9 years, only 7 teams winning the Cup, 7 teams out of the 9 winning the Cup allowed at least 280 goals. Pittsburgh has scored 343, so that qualifies them in the first bracket, and gave up 308. So if you think stats are telling the story, you're looking at a guy who's going to wear the 6th Stanley Cup ring not too long from now.
Now this team is 30.1 seconds away from its 10th straight win. Look out, there's some kind of a bottle came down. Plastic, luckily. Much was made, and rightly so, of the Blackhawks winning 11 straight and establishing a playoff record. Well, the Penguins will be 10 straight if they hang on and win this one.
7 or 8 feet on his side of the red line when he shot it down. And this gives the Hawks a chance, 25-second chance, to get the tire. So if you want to see a guy who will be more determined than ever on this shift, watch number 66. He's the guy that cost him this faceoff.
Chicago, 25 seconds left. They're net empty. Chelios, a penalty. So 5 skaters aside, you might say, inside that Pittsburgh blue line. It was not brought in. Now it is. From the blue line, Ronick is galloping in. He centered it. Got through in front of the crease. Nobody could make contact. Back of the goal. It is Mario Lemieux going after it. It's shot on the boards and down the ice. No icing this time, and this is going to be a 1-0 game unless Tocchet can score. Here he is, and he does it. A second time he misses. Another shot, and this game is over. And Pittsburgh are within 1 game of winning their second Stanley Cup. 3-0 in the series now by virtue of their 1-0 win tonight here in Chicago.
Well, Pittsburgh's won a handful of games this playoff with offense, and tonight they won this one by playing real solid defense. Those 3 coaches can be awfully proud of their game plan and the players that executed it so well. And when it failed or faltered or slipped, Tom Barrasso made sure the plan was kept intact. And the Hawks now are in a very difficult spot. Down 3-0. Scotty Bowman's talking to Mario Lemieux coming off the ice, probably asking him about that icing call. Scotty never gives up coaching. Here's Mario. I thought I'd score, Scotty. Don't think about scoring when we're trying to prevent one, says Mr. Bowman.
So the only goal in the game, Stevens at 15:26 of the first, and the final score, Pittsburgh 1, Chicago 0.
Living, loving, building, growing, hometown proud, Canada.
There are some things you can't separate from this country. The values that make Canada, Canada, and hometown, home. At your hometown IGA supermarket, we still believe in them. IGA, home of great Canadian values.
Hometown proud, IGA. IGA.
Now you can have a whole summer of family fun with the Family Adventure Book 92. You pay $35, you get $225 worth of free admission for a family of 4 to 11 of Winnipeg's fun attractions. A whole day at Skinner's Wet and Wild, free. A full day of rides at Tinkertown, free. Grand Prix Mini Golf, Empress Bowling, Play Zone, Wheelies Roller Skating, Winnipeg Canoe Club, and more. And once you buy the book, you don't need to spend another penny. You get completely free admission for a family of 4. That's a $225 value for $35. You save more than $180. In fact, just use the coupon for Skinner's Wet and Wild, and you've already more than recovered the cost of the book. Supplies are limited, so get yours today at any Select-A-Seat location or by calling 780-7328. That's 780-7328. The Family Adventure Book 92.
From Canada to more European destinations, one airline owns the skies, which is one more reason why more Canadians fly Air Canada to Europe.
Hey, if you want to give your dad something to keep him busy, buy specially marked Pepsi, 7-Up, or Hostess Frito-Lay products, and you could win a Super Nintendo Entertainment System or a free Pepsi. You could also win a Power Magazine, a Game Boy, or a Nintendo Game Pass. You'll be the coolest kid on the block, and your dad, he won't know what hit him. What'd I tell you?
The defending defending Stanley Cup champions win their 10th in a row. They're a win away from the 1992 Stanley Cup as they triumph 1-0 at Chicago Stadium for Tom Barrasso. His second career playoff shutout. You may recall he had the 8-zip win to conclude the 91 Stanley Cup Championship Series. The second star tonight from Pittsburgh, Ulf Samuelsson, and the third star this evening, Chicago goalkeeper Ed Belfour. So the Penguins win it by 1 on the road. They lead the series 3-0, heading to Game 4 Monday night at Chicago Stadium. Scotty Bowman and Brian Trottier both have a chance to win their 6th Stanley Cup ring on the strength of a big win tonight. More on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC and the Stanley Cup playoffs in a moment.
And relief pitcher Lexford still won't get out of that air-conditioned car. Oh, here comes umpire Willard. Looks like he's had enough. Holy cow, look at this. Willard and Fabian going toe-to-toe. Willard wants Lexford out of that car.
This season, get air conditioning from Mazda or equivalent credit on 323, the four-door Protege, the Sporty Miata, the roomy MPV, and Mazda trucks.
And Lexford's getting an earful.
Beat the heat with air from Mazda.
Man, oh man, now Fabian won't get out of the car.
Now you can have a whole summer of family fun with the Family Adventure Book 92. You pay $35. You get $225 worth of free admission for a family of 4 to 11 of Winnipeg's fun attractions. A whole day at Skinner's Wet and Wild, free. A full day of rides at Tinkertown, free. Grand Prix Mini Golf, Empress Bowling, Play Zone, Wheelies Roller Skating, Winnipeg Canoe Club, and more. And once you buy the book, you don't need to spend another penny. You get completely free admission for a family of 4. That's a $225 value for $35. You save more than $180. In fact, just use the coupon for Skinner's Wet and Wild, and you've already more than recovered the cost of the book. Supplies are limited, so get yours today at any Select-A-Seat location or by calling 780-7328. That's 780-7328. The Family Adventure Book 92.
The Big Country Awards with host Carol Baker and nominees George Fox, Michelle Wright, Gary Felgard, Blue Rodeo, Cassandra Bassett, Ian Tyson, Prairie Oyster, Anne Murray, and many, many more. The Big Country Awards on CBC TV, Monday, June 8th at 8 p.m., 8:30 in Newfoundland. Tonight at Chicago Stadium, they discovered a better masked man. This is the building where the Phantom loves to hang out, but Tom Barrasso was more than a match for the Phantom and anyone else who cared to take him on this evening. The Hawks are in a pit of despair as the Penguins win by a score of 1-0 to lead the series by 3. Joining me now, the second star of the game, Ulf Samuelsson. Congratulations, Ulf. Tell me about the game as you saw it tonight.
Well, I think Tommy played probably his best game of his life and kept us in there. You know, they had tons of chances, and we had some good chances too. It was a battle of 2 good goalies. It wasn't too many nice plays out there. It was more of a hard battle out there.
It's hard to talk about yourself, I know, but when you think of the Penguins, you automatically think of Yager and Tocchet and Francis and Mario, but the defense, I think, has really come into its own in these playoffs. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think usually in the regular season, we're, as a defense group, just trying to keep it below 5 goals, and we're going to win more games than lose. But I think the forwards are really giving us a lot of help in the playoffs.
I asked you while we were in the break how it is that somebody from Sweden is such a great hitting defenseman, because generally you're thought of as offensive catalysts. Where did you learn to hit?
Well, I looked myself in the mirror when I was younger there and realized that I wasn't going to get 20 or 30 goals every year. So I was trying to become a defensive defenseman, who can step up and hit every once in a while, and that got me into the league. And, right now I'm just happy to be a part of, one of the greatest teams in hockey, I believe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Tell me the story about Jim Belushi.
Well, Chicago is trying everything. They sent him over to our hotel yesterday, and he's pesting around there trying to make jokes and fun of us, but he didn't work.
And a brief comment on Scotty Bowman running your club to 10 straight victories. What do you think's in store for this team as you go into Game 4 Monday?
Well, I think as far as Scotty, he's just a master of the hockey. I mean, everybody knows what he's done and what he's doing right now. And Game 4 is always the toughest game to win. So we're going to have a nice day off tomorrow, and come back to the toughest game of the series.
My thanks to Alf Samuelson, the number 2 star this evening, as the Pens win 1-0. Back to wrap on Molson Hockey Night in Canada after this.
Now you can have a whole summer of family fun with the Family Adventure Book 92. You pay $35. You get $225 worth of free admission for a family of 4 to 11 of Winnipeg's fun attractions. A whole day at Skinner's Wet and Wild, free. A full day of rides at Tinkertown, free. Grand Prix Mini Golf, Empress Bowling, Play Zone, Wheelies Roller Skating, Winnipeg Canoe Club, and more. And once you buy the book, you don't need to spend another penny. You get completely free admission for a family of 4. That's a $225 value for $35. You save more than $180. In fact, just use the coupon for Skinner's Wet and Wild, and you've already more than recovered the cost of the book. Supplies are limited, so get yours today at any Select-A-Seat location or by calling 780-7328. That's 780-7328. The Family Adventure Book 92.
Came from a small town to take on the world.